battle within the Congress party in Karnataka to find the next Chief Minister of Karnataka. Now, why do they need a new Chief Minister? They already have a Chief Minister in Siddaramaiah. But there is a Deputy Chief Minister called D.K. Shivakumar who, since the Congress came to power in Karnataka, has felt that he rightfully deserves the chair of the Chief Minister. Now, initially, he was given to believe, now that's what his camp claims, that he was given to believe that after half the term or 2.5 years, he would be given the role of the Chief Minister and that the Chief Minister would change in Karnataka. But that has not happened. And that is why he is upset. His camp, though small in number compared to the support that the Chief Minister holds, the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has a large chunk of MLAs and ministers backing him. And that is why for D.K. Shivakumar, that's been his weakest point, that he does not have enough MLAs backing him. And that is why he doesn't carry that clout to Delhi each time. Now, what is interesting in this particular meeting is not the fact that both the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister are here for another meeting. It is also because the so-called compromise candidates, namely Mallikarjun Kharge, who's also the Congress president, there have been rumors about him and speculation, more than rumor, that he could be a compromise candidate in a situation where the Congress party feels they can neither keep Siddaramaiah or D.K. Shivakumar in the chair. In that scenario, Mallikarjun Kharge or Parameshwara can be seen as compromise candidates, Dalit chief ministers, which is what the Congress party has also wanted to do in the state of Karnataka, to send a social, symbolic messaging. And that is why the fact that they too have been called to Delhi and will be there in the meeting tomorrow becomes extremely critical. Now, the timing though of all of this happening is interesting. It's happening at a time when Karnataka is facing the SIR, the Special Intensive Revision Exercise. Like we've seen in the other states, the impact of SIR on Karnataka will be interesting. Karnataka is one state which has seen a large influx of outsiders. When you say outsiders, the illegal immigrants, including from Bangladesh, who are working in different parts in the agri sector, in the unorganized sector in Bengaluru. So this is where SIR exercise becomes extremely critical, and the Congress party is facing this exercise along with this tussle of leadership, and they will want to address both issues going into the election season. Of course, in 2028, less than 2 years from now, elections will be held in Karnataka, and that is why the meeting on Tuesday becomes extremely critical. Republic will be live all of Tuesday.
And with that, let us quickly shift our attention to some of the top headlines doing rounds in our national wraps. A shocking hit-and-run incident was caught on CCTV as Fortuner owner mowed down a seated youth before fleeing the spot. The victim sustained critical injuries as panic gripped the area under Kalyanpur police limits. The police have now launched a probe and are scanning the CCTV footage to trace the accused driver. Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways Sarbananda Sonowal chaired a high-level security review meeting with senior officials of the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, outlining a comprehensive reform-driven roadmap aimed at accelerating India's maritime transformation in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. The meeting focused on strengthening governance, improving ease of doing business, and enhancing digital integration, effective grievance redressal, and also ensuring time-bound implementation of key maritime initiatives through a structured and accountable institutional mechanism. Chaos erupted outside the St. Andrews College in Gorakhpur after several SSC GD aspirants were denied entry into the examination center over an alleged seat mismatch. Agitated candidates staged a protest demanding that exam be conducted the same day. Officials blamed the disruption on a technical issue and excess seat allotment beyond the center's capacity. Authorities now say that the affected candidates will be allowed to reappear in the upcoming shifts after coordination with the exam board. Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren chaired a high-level review meeting with officials of the Finance and Commercial Taxes Department at the Jharkhand Secretariat. Discussions focused on improving revenue collection, financial management and tax administration across the state. The Chief Minister also reviewed transparency measures and directed officials to ensure effective implementation of departmental policies. Now, viewers, actor Ranveer Singh is facing major backlash after the Federation of Western India Cine Employees Film Body issued a non-cooperation directive against him after his reported exit from the movie Dawn 3. The action follows a complaint by filmmaker and actor Farhan Akhtar, with Faiz now alleging the actor's last-minute withdrawal caused massive financial and production losses. Here's more on the story. Take a look. A fresh controversy has erupted in the circles of Bollywood, and this time it involves one of the industry's biggest stars. The Federation of Western India Cine Employees, also known as Faiz, has issued a non-cooperation directive against actor Ranveer Singh after a complaint linked to his reported exit from the movie Dawn 3. The complaint was filed initially by actor and filmmaker Farhan Akhtar before the Indian Film and Television Directors Association, alleging that Ranveer Singh withdrew from the movie at the last minute, causing major disruption in production and finances. Faiz chief advisor Ashok Pandit strongly defended the Federation's decision, saying that no actor is above industry discipline. Ranveer Singh, meanwhile, has not issued a detailed public response to the allegations. For now, the industry is closely watching whether the standoff leads to a settlement or whether it escalates into a prolonged legal and professional battle over one of Bollywood's biggest franchise films. And now, moving on, one of Delhi's most elite and powerful institutions, the Delhi Gymkhana Club, is now at the center of a major legal and administrative showdown. The central government has ordered the club to vacate its 27.3-acre Lutyens Delhi premises by June 5, citing defense and security-related requirements. In response, the club has moved to Delhi High Court, challenging the eviction order, while also contesting a massive hike in ground rent and alleging multiple irregularities. With accusations, counterclaims and a whistleblower's explosive charges now surfacing, the controversy has intensified. The matter is set for hearing on May 26th. Take a look at the full report.
One of Delhi's most powerful and exclusive clubs, the Delhi Gymkhana Club, is now facing the biggest crisis in its history. The central government has ordered the club to vacate its 27.3 acres premises in Lutyens, Delhi by June 5th, citing defense and security-related requirements. In response, the club has moved the Delhi High Court, seeking to challenge the eviction order. The matter was mentioned before Justice Avnish Jingan, with the court agreeing to hear the case on May 26th.
The Delhi Gymkhana Club controversy has now turned into a major showdown between the centre and the club, with the government ordering to vacate 27.3 acres of prime land situated in the Lutyens, Delhi by June 5, citing the national security reasons, defense infrastructure and public purposes. The club has been ordered to vacate the whole land by June 5. However, the club members have challenged this order of the centre and they have approached the High Court in this regard. The matter is set to be heard on Tuesday as the order of the centre was termed illegal by the club members of the Gymkhana, which is situated in the national capital.
The petition has been filed by club member Vijay Khurana, even as several veteran members have now openly opposed the government's move. But the legal fight is not just about the land, it is also about money, power, and serious allegations of financial irregularities. The Delhi Gymkhana Club has also challenged a massive hike in ground rent. The annual rent, fixed at Rs 409.50 under a 1927 lease, was first revised to over 4 crore and then further escalated to nearly 47.6 crores this year. The government has accused the club of multiple lease violations, including unauthorized constructions and misuse of land. The club, however, claims that the demand is arbitrary, financially impossible, and in violation of existing rules. With the High Court now set to hear the matter, all eyes will be on whether the club gets relief or whether the centre moves ahead with its June 5th deadline.
And now let us take a quick look at some of the top stories in the world of business and financial markets. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Monday pushed back against what she called fear-mongering about the economy, arguing that India remains resilient despite mounting pressures from the West Asia crisis. Speaking at SIDBI's 37th Foundation Day celebrations in Mumbai, Sitharaman said the conflict in West Asia has created significant challenges for businesses, particularly micro, small and medium enterprises, by driving up fuel and fertilizer costs, disrupting supply chains and creating uncertainty around exports. Oil prices were sharply lower following comments by President Donald Trump that diplomatic negotiations with Iran are advancing, easing market fears of severe energy supply disruptions due to the Middle East conflict. Brent crude for July delivery fell 5.9% to trade at $97.44 per barrel, slipping below the $100 per barrel mark for the first time in nearly 3 weeks, while the corresponding WTI contract fell by a similar margin to trade at $90.99 per barrel. Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, has proposed to allow exchanges a flexible and standardized framework for the introduction and management of strike prices in options contracts across exchanges during trading hours. SEBI consultation paper issued on Monday seeks public feedback on measures that would require stock exchanges to maintain adequate availability of option strike prices around prevailing market levels. The regulator noted that during significant intraday market swings, traders may face difficulties if price movements extend beyond the farthest available strike prices. The Indian benchmark stock market indices opened in green on Monday, May 25, tracking positive global cues such as low crude oil prices and rising expectations over a US-Iran peace deal, bolstering favorable investor sentiment. While Nifty rallied 0.93% to 23,940.30 level, Sensex surged 0.96% to 76,135.80. This comes after WTI crude fell about 5% to $91.65 a barrel, while Brent also plummeted around 5% to $96.04 a barrel. This decline was triggered following comments by U.S. President Donald Trump that U.S. strikes on Iran were halted to allow more room for peace talks. Petrol and diesel prices were hiked once again on Monday, marking the fourth increase in less than 2 weeks amid continued volatility in global crude markets. With this latest adjustment, the retail price of the petrol in New Delhi has climbed to Rs 102.12 per litre, while diesel now stands at Rs 95.20 per litre. State-run oil marketing companies are implementing these phased increases to offset persistent revenue losses as global crude oil prices remain elevated above the $100 per barrel. And now, addressing how the Indian economy is dealing with the effects of the West Asia war, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that Indian economy can't afford fear-mongering and a cynical narrative. Watch this in-depth report by Republic Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor for more information.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has called out naysayers and pessimists on Indian economy and flagged the fear-mongering going on. To provide the context, a raging debate is on in the country whether our economy is doing well or good enough, whether Indian economy, which was said to be in its Goldilocks moment just about 6 months back, has hit turbulence and is passing through a phase where it can go into a tailspin. The debate was started by noted economist Surjit Bhalla, one time India's representative at the International Monetary Fund, and he had, through an article in a newspaper, said that while the BJP seems to be doing well politically, on the economy front, the government, which means the Modi government, is not doing well or well enough. And he had raised certain or flagged certain flashpoints which according to him indicate towards the economy not in the best of shape. Now the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman coming out and while speaking at an event in Mumbai called this fear-mongering and has said that these naysayers and pessimists, of course she did not name Surjit Bhalla, but of course she's joining the debate, and she said that these people are doing a disservice to the people of the country, and they are running down the hard work of the people of the country. And to buttress her claims that Indian economy is doing great insofar as its domestic sector is concerned, whatever headwinds we are facing, and she did acknowledge that there are headwinds. She said those headwinds are essentially because of the external sector, and she said these are the challenges are all external and they can be called the 3F problem of Indian economy, which is fuel, fertilizers and foreign exchange. Now fuels, obviously because of the Iran war and the disruption that the war has caused for our petroleum supplies, petrol and gas supplies, and that has led to a spike in our import bill. Similarly fertilizers, because natural gas is a key component for manufacture of fertilizers around the world, and the prices of fertilizers have spiked a lot. And then of course foreign exchange, because the gold that Indians are so fond of purchasing comes from outside, and that leads to foreign exchange outgo. As also the fact that the FIIs have been, or the foreign institutional investors have been pulling out money. So the finance minister flagged these headwinds, of course, that fuel, fertilizer and forex is an issue which Indian economy is facing, and we are dealing with these headwinds in multiple ways, the Prime Minister's appeal being one of them. But so far as the domestic economy is concerned, on the domestic front, the Indian economy seems to be doing great, and she gave some macro numbers to buttress her claims. She said that the GST collections year on year have seen an uptick of 8.3% at 22 lakh crores for the last financial year. She also then gave numbers which suggest a broad-based domestic demand in green. And these numbers she gave were for April 2026, according to which, and remember April 2026 is during the war period because the war started in February, tractor sales are up 26%, and that's significant because tractor sales correspond to the rural economy doing well, because farmers buy tractors only when they have money and that they foresee the possibility of agricultural production being good. Then passenger vehicles are up 25%, or sales of passenger vehicles like cars are up 25%, sales of three-wheelers are up 32%, sales of two-wheelers are up 28% year on year for the month of April, which means that at the beginning of the financial year, all these markers of domestic demand and hence domestic economy seem to be really having great growth. Finance Minister also gave some other numbers, again from macros. New business insurance premia are up 39%. Gross NPAs of public sector banks are down to 2%, or 1.93%, actually less than 2%. And if the gross NPAs of public sector banks are going down, it essentially means that those people who have taken loans are paying them back, and then the banks are recovering their debt and they're getting it back. So obviously It's a marker of economy doing well, according to the finance minister. Credit growth, another marker of how the economy is doing, whether people are ready to take risk, finance their enterprise, that's growing or not. Credit growth in 3 segments. Retail is up 18.1%, agriculture up 15.5%, and MSMEs up 18.2%. And that taken together gives you an idea of the kind of credit growth that's happening. So banks are recovering money, putting it back and lending, which means there is hunger and appetite for enterprise, which is also, according to the finance minister, buttressed by 2 more parameters, which is corporate India's profit growth, and the margins are highest in the last 5 years, and investment activity in the private sector. One red flag which was raised by Surjit Bhalla in his Indian Express column. There the finance minister said, as per CII data, investment activity in the private sector for the month of September 2025 was up 67% year on year. Now that's a little dated figure in the sense that it's September 2025, we are in May of 2026, and in between we have had the war, the Iran war of the United States and Israel. But finance minister essentially, red flagging the fear mongers, the pessimists and the naysayers of the Indian economy, obviously without naming Surjit Bhalla, and joining the debate there. The jury is still out, because remember, the turbulence or the headwinds which the finance minister herself acknowledges in that address in Mumbai still remain. So far as fuel, fertilizers and forex issue is concerned, Indian economy is going to face these headwinds, and the government would need to really tackle them head on. In some ways it is already doing, but obviously it's going to be long summer ahead before these 3 headwinds are taken care of.
Meghalaya environmentalist and indigenous knowledge keeper Heli Waugh was conferred the Padma Shri by the President of India, a pioneer of the ancient Khasi practice of bio-weaving. The 69-year-old environmentalist from Meghalaya's East Khasi Hills has spent more than 5 decades nurturing this ancient culture. Take a look at this.
Where rivers in spate pose constant reminders of nature's power, there rose a man who patiently replied in the very language of nature. The man who grows bridges. Heli Waugh, Padma Shri 2026. In the far eastern hills of India, where the monsoon writes its story in torrents and storms, nature is not something people fight, it is something they listen to. Here, in 1957, in the remote village of CH near Sohra in Meghalaya, was born Heli Waugh amongst the gentle people of the Khasi Hills. At 10 years old, he stepped into a tradition that demanded something rare in the modern world: patience, measured not in minutes or even years, but in generations. The tradition of building living root bridges across rivers, a precious jewel in the rich heritage of the Khasi people. Formed from the aerial roots of the rubber fig tree, Ficus elastica, these structures take decades to mature. They twist, strengthen and grow, becoming a part of the forest itself, a collaboration between human ingenuity and nature's strength.
My grandfather would take me into the forest, where there were no root bridges. People had to walk many more miles to cross the river. This was the only way to our farms. My grandfather showed me how living root bridges were made. He showed me how to select and care for the roots, how to support them cross the river till they become strong. He told me these bridges won't just help in crossing the river, but they are a part of who we are.
Despite his responsibilities and the work at his pepper and areca nut plantations, Heli Waugh makes sure to care for the bridges, cleaning and strengthening them, guiding their growth. Because a living bridge is never finished, it must be nurtured, just like any life form. Today, more than 10,000 visitors travel to CH each year to to witness these remarkable structures, drawn by their beauty, by the wisdom they represent, and by a form of engineering that produces no pollution.
I am happy that in Meghalaya we value our traditions and try to preserve these living root bridges. This not only brings honor to me, but it brings honor to my family, to my village, to my grandfather, my father who taught me the way to live with nature, not against it.
Shri Hali War, Padma Shri 2026. Koti Koti Naman.
Taking a short break now, we're coming up on the other side. CNG gets costlier in Delhi NCR. CNG prices hiked by Rs 2 per kg. CNG now costs at Rs 83.03 per kg.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट अब बताओ स्वाद आया
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
The top headlines for today: Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar in Delhi. Congress High Command firefights Karnataka leadership issue. CBI registers new case in Twisha's death. Complaint states Twisha was subjected to continuous mental and physical harassment. SIT concluded a real-time crime scene recreation and spot visit in Twisha death case lasting over 2 hours. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar to host Quad Foreign Ministers meeting today. Foreign ministers from US, Japan and Australia to hold joint press meeting with the minister in New Delhi. Delhi Gymkhana Club moves the Delhi High Court against central government order to vacate 27.3-acre premises. CNG gets costlier in Delhi NCR. CNG hiked by Rs 2 per kg. CNG to now cost Rs 83.03 per kg. A very good morning. You're watching live this morning on Republic. I'm Jongtham Amrita, and beginning with a focus story of the day, the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting in New Delhi is being seen as a major attempt to revive the relevance of the four-nation grouping of India, the United States, Japan and Australia. Created to promote a free trade and open Indo-Pacific, the Quad has often been viewed as a strategic counterweight to China's growing influence. But in recent months, trade tensions, delayed summits and questions over Washington's China policy have raised doubts about the group's unity and long-term direction. Now, with India and Japan pushing for stronger security, economic and maritime coordination, the Delhi meeting is being seen as a chance to reset the Quad's strategic purpose and rebuild confidence in the Indo-Pacific framework. Take a look.
The Quad, made up of India, the US, Japan and Australia, was created to support a free and open Indo-Pacific and balance China's growing assertiveness in the region. But in recent months, the group has faced growing questions over its relevance. Trade disputes, delayed leaders summit, and differences over China have created doubts about whether the Quad can act as a united strategic force or not.
Quad does not have any framework that could potentially replace or perhaps present a counter to what China is doing with Belt and Road Initiative. The reason is because both of these both of these coalition or projects are completely different in nature. For instance, Quad is more like a value-based coalition of like-minded countries which have multiple priorities, multiple items on the agenda that starts from shared diplomacy, maritime security, all the way to bilateral, multilateral, defense and economic and technology related relationships. On the other hand, Belt and Road Initiative is something of more of a very strong strategic posturing of China as a counterweight to American influence in the world. So the way how China is approaching this entire project is by bringing a lot of investment into several countries in the global south particularly.
Concerns grew further after signs of Washington softening its approach towards Beijing, while the Middle East conflict also shifted America's global priorities away from the Indo-Pacific. Now India and Japan are trying to re-energize the group. During talks in New Delhi, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said India and Japan share a special strategic and global partnership with major regional importance.
Between India and Japan, of course, we have a special strategic and global partnership, and that signals that our ties have a larger implication, larger importance, larger impact. And one example of that will be tomorrow when we meet in the Quad format to discuss how to advance a free and open Indo-Pacific. Today, I look forward to discussing our bilateral cooperation, to discussing global and regional issues, and I think particularly in this current situation, what is happening in West Asia or the Middle East is important because we are both energy importing nations, we are big trading nations, we have maritime interests.
India and Japan have significantly expanded cooperation in technology, infrastructure and economic security. Projects like the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train have become symbols of Japan's long-term strategic commitment to India. Defense and maritime ties have also grown stronger, with the Quad countries increasing joint naval exercises and security coordination across the Indo-Pacific. Supporters of the Quad say the group remains essential to counter China's expanding influence, protect sea routes, reduce dependence on Chinese supply chains, and maintain regional stability. For India and Japan, this week's meeting is a chance to give the Quad a clearer purpose and stronger direction. Because without greater economic and security coordination, critics warn that group risks being seen as more symbolic rather than strategic.
And now tensions concerning the West Asia war may be inching towards a diplomatic breakthrough. Iran says major obstacles in talks with the United States have been resolved, though Iran insists that there is no deadline yet for a final agreement. The proposed deal could end months of conflict, reopen the crucial Strait of Hormuz, and restart discussions over Iran's nuclear program. United States President Donald Trump says that negotiations are proceeding nicely. That's what he said. And however, the U.S. continues to maintain pressure on Iran. Take a look at this detailed report and what's next in the talks between U.S. and Iran.
After months of conflict, diplomatic movement between the U.S. and Iran is seemingly gaining momentum. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Baghai says a large portion of the issues under discussion with the US have been resolved, but Iran is stopping short of saying that a deal is ready.
خب ببینید این تحولاتی که در چند روز اخیر خبری شد محصول چند هفته گفتگو از طریق میانجی پاکستانی بوده. بعضی کشورهای دیگه هم مساعی جمیله به خرج دادن در این مدت. بنابراین این که در زمینه بخش زیادی از موضوعات مورد گفتگو ما به یک جمع‌بندی رسیدیم امر درستی است. اما اینکه بگیم که این به معنای این هست که امضای یک توافق قریب الوقوع است، کسی نمیتواند چنین ادعایی بکند به همون دلایلی که بخشش خودتون گفتید.
He also said that there is no timetable or deadline for finalizing the framework agreement, though he added that Iran wants a conclusion as its national interests are secured.
ما زمانبندی یا زمان خاصی رو برای نهایی کردن تعیین نکردیم. قطعاً برای ما به عنوان جمهوری اسلامی ایران هرچه سریعتر بتونیم به نتیجه‌ای که تأمین کننده منافع و حقوق ملی ایران مردم ایران باشه دریغ نخواهیم کرد. برای ما ملاک تأمین منافع ملی است و در این روند هر زمان که لازم باشه، هر زمان که به جمع‌بندی نهایی برسیم حتما اعلام خواهیم کرد.
The emerging deal could have massive global developments. According to reports, the agreement under discussion would end the war, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and possibly see Iran give up its stockpile of highly enriched uranium. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important energy choke points, has been effectively shut since the killing of Ali Khamenei months earlier. The closure that sent oil and gas prices soaring across global markets, which also triggered fears of a prolonged energy crisis. US President Trump also signaled optimism when it comes to dealing with Iran. In a post on social media, Trump has said that negotiations with Iran are proceeding nicely. However, he also put the pressure on Iran by saying that if the talks break down, the war will get bigger than ever. Meanwhile, Baghai also warned that Iran could not rule out further action if fighting resumes, saying that when a fire has started, expectations are there that the fire may spread.
ایران در دفاع از خودش هیچ گزینه‌ای رو منتفی نمیدونه. اساساً شما آتش رو نمیتونید در یک منطقه یا در یک کشور محبوس بکنید. اگر آتشی رو شعله‌ور بکنید حتما باید انتظار داشته باشید که شعله‌های این آتش سایر مناطق، سایر بخش‌ها هم در بر بگیرد.
With the United Arab Emirates and other Gulf countries already hit by Iranian missiles and drones during the conflict, any lasting agreement could bring much needed stability to both the region and the global economy.
And now, viewers, as negotiations over a possible end to the Iran conflict gather pace, US President Donald Trump appears to be settling his sights on something much bigger than just peace. Behind closed doors, Trump is now trying to reshape the order of West Asia itself. According to media reports, the US president told leaders from several Arab and Muslim majority countries during a high-level conference call on Saturday that once the war with Iran ends, he wants more nations to recognize Israel and join the Abraham Accords. US President Donald Trump has also said these leaders that once the Iran war ends, he expects countries that still do not recognize Israel to move towards normalizing ties with the country. Let us now listen in to Republic Senior Executive Editor and hear more on the Abraham Accords and what it is about. Take a look.
Amid the ongoing negotiations on a deal on the Iran war, whether we are going to see another round of military action by the United States and Israel, or whether there would be permanent truce, an interesting post came from President Donald Trump on his Truth Social platform, in which he said that the negotiations with the Islamic Republic of Iran are proceeding nicely. It will only be a great deal for all or no deal at all. Now, that's typical Trump. But what is interesting is that President Trump, through this post, brought out a very interesting angle to the ongoing negotiations. He said that the deal would be incumbent upon some of these nations which are part of the talks joining the Abraham Accords. Now, he names those countries. He said he's spoken to the leaders of Saudi Arabia, which means President Mohammed bin Salman, Al Saud of Saudi Arabia, then Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of the United Arab Emirates, then Mohammed Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, the Prime Minister of Qatar, and then he has spoken to Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir of Pakistan. Interesting that he is not talking to the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, but Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and then he has spoken to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, and then Fateh al-Sisi of Egypt, King Abdullah II of Jordan, and King Hamad Khalifa of Bahrain. Now, interesting thing is he has spoken to all these leaders and said that there would be permanent truce provided you agree to join Abraham Accords. That's very interesting because Abraham Accords mean, and he also, of course, includes Pakistan. Abraham Accords mean that all these nations, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, Bahrain already is part of Abraham Accord, but Jordan and other countries, including Turkey, they will have to recognize Israel. Not only that, they will have to establish diplomatic ties with Israel. Now, how would Pakistan do it? And that's very interesting fallout of this position that Donald Trump has taken and put across insofar as ongoing negotiations on the deal are concerned. And he goes on to say that it may be possible that one or two have a reason for not doing so, and that will be accepted, but most should be ready, willing, and be able to make this settlement with Iran for a more historic event that it would otherwise be. The Abraham Accords have proven to be for the countries involved. So Abraham Accords were signed first time in 2020 between the United States, Israel, and the UAE, and then subsequently broadened to include Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, Kazakhstan. As of now, 7 nations part of it. Essentially, Abraham Accords refers to a peace deal which President Trump had brought about, which made these Islamic nations in the Gulf recognize Israel, which they had not done since the setting up of the Jewish state, the Jewish nation. In fact, if you look at all the issues in the Middle East, they are connected with all these nations not recognizing Israel's right to exist. With Abraham Accords, President Trump had brought about these 4 or 5 nations recognizing Israel, setting up diplomatic ties, and Saudi Arabia at that time had not agreed to, and that led to some back channel which has been going on for years, except for the interim of the Biden administration. And President Trump in his second term has been pushing for Abraham Accords 2.0, which now it seems he has made it incumbent upon him agreeing for a permanent truce with Iran. Now what this does is makes all these Muslim nations recognize Israel, if they agree to, obviously. But specific to Pakistan is the question that arises out of this. What happens of Pakistan? It almost reminds me of what Henry Kissinger once said, that it may be dangerous to be America's enemy, but to be America's friend is for sure fatal. Now look at Pakistan. In all these countries, Pakistan is one nation which not only not recognize Israel, but also on its passports stamps that this passport is applicable in all the countries of the world except for Israel. I mean, that's the kind of hate ingrained in the Pakistani society and hence reflected in its establishment, that they are not going to accept Israel's visas on their passport as well. And then in the ongoing talks, reports have suggested that Pakistan has promised to Iran that if it gives up its nuclear ambition, that Pakistan is willing to provide a nuclear umbrella to Iran against Israel. In fact, there were reports about 6 months back which suggested that some of the missiles that Pakistan has tested were aimed to bring Israel into its nuclear ambit, which means to target Israel if need be. Now, in this situation, for Pakistan to agree to Abraham Accords, which means by default to recognize Israel and to establish diplomatic ties, is something that's going to cause a huge turmoil in the nation. Remember what happened in Pakistan when the war was launched by United States and Israel in the month of February and March. The only country in the world which saw violence panning out and an American embassy or consulate targeted was Pakistan, where the US consulate in Karachi was targeted. The violence led to the killing of 6 Pakistani citizens, and the Pakistani state had to put a big clampdown on protesters. Not only that, we had reports of how Asim Munir had to call meetings of these Pakistani Maulvis and Maulanas and to restrain them, counsel them to stop doing this, because he was trying to have a wheeling-dealing relationship with the Trump administration, in which he has succeeded to some measure, but at what cost? The costs are emerging now, and while Saudis might still be able to do it, it would be very difficult, because remember, Saudis have had a back channel with Israel. They were in fact going to recognize Israel back in 2006 on the sidelines of the OIC meet, but for a bomb that was, or a diplomatic bomb that was lobbed by the then Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad when he, on the eve of the GCC meeting or Gulf Cooperation Council meeting, said that Israel should be wiped out of the face of earth and not recognized. And that really put Saudis in a quandary, because as the main Islamic nation, keeper of the 2 holy mosques, it could not be seen to be acknowledging the existence of Jewish state or set up diplomatic ties with them when the tempers were running high. But then since then, the Saudis have had back channel, not Pakistan. And so this Truth Social post by President Trump on wanting Abraham Accords 2.0 with all Muslim nations who could benefit from a deal with Iran or peace with Iran to join Abraham Accords is going to be difficult. This also means Iran stands completely, permanently isolated, because Iran, of course, is not going to recognize Israel in any manner. So it seems like a non-starter for Iran insofar as a permanent truce is concerned, and it seems like a diplomatic disaster for Pakistan if it happens.
And now let us take a look at some of the top national headlines today. A shocking hit-and-run incident was caught on CCTV as a Fortuner owner mowed down a seated youth before fleeing the spot. The victim sustained critical injuries as panic gripped the area under Kalyanpur police limits. The police have now launched a probe and are scanning the CCTV footage to trace the accused driver. Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways Sarbanan Sonowal chaired a high-level review meeting with senior officials of the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, outlining a comprehensive reform-driven roadmap aimed at accelerating India's maritime transformation in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. The meeting focused on strengthening governance, improving ease of doing business, enhancing digital integration, effective grievance redressal, and ensuring time-bound implementation of key maritime initiatives through a structured and accountable institutional mechanism. Chaos erupted outside St. Andrews College in Gorakhpur after several SSC GD aspirants were denied entry into the examination center over an alleged seat mismatch. Agitated candidates staged a protest demanding the exam be conducted the same day. Officials blamed the disruption on a technical issue and excess seat allotment beyond the center's capacity. Authorities now say that the affected candidates will be allowed to reappear in the upcoming shifts after coordination with the exam board. President Draupadi Murmu presented the Padma Awards for 2026 during a civil investiture ceremony at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi, honoring distinguished personalities from across the country for their contributions to arts, public life, science, literature and social service. The ceremony saw legendary actor Dharmendra receive a posthumous Padma Vibhushan, while celebrated violinist and Rajam and veteran Bengali actor Prosenjit Chatterjee were also among the prominent honorees recognized this year. Take a look.
President Murmu conferred Padma Awards for 2026 during the civil investiture ceremony held at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi on Monday. A total of 66 Padma Awards were presented at the ceremony, recognizing distinguished contributors across arts, public affairs, literature, science and social service. Legendary Bollywood actor Dharmendra was posthumously awarded the Padma Vibhushan for his exceptional contribution to Indian cinema. Senior journalist Kailash Chandrapant has been awarded the Padma Shri by President Murmu for his outstanding contribution to journalism and the promotion of Hindi across India. Renowned violin maestro N. Rajam also received the Padma Vibhushan for her contribution to Indian classical music. Veteran Bengali actor Prosenjit Chatterjee was honoured with the Padma Shri, marking a major recognition for his decades-long contribution to Bengali and Indian cinema. Eminent social worker from Arunachal Pradesh, Techi Gubin has been conferred the Padma Shri for his dedicated contribution in the field of social work. This year's Padma honours include 5 Padma Vibhushan, 13 Padma Bhushan and 113 Padma Shri awardees, recognizing achievers across the country.
Taking a short break, and now coming up on the other side, Indian External Affairs Minister Jay Shankar to host US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong and Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi for a meeting of the Quad's foreign ministers in New Delhi today.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट।
ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े।
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma. Who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video?
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Character, the taste of success.
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जल जीरा, जीरा से।
जीरा से असली refreshing, असली sweet.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट।
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
ये जश्न है, जश्न का ये जश्न है। राष्ट्रीय इलायची जश्न का जश्न।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरे राजा।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old.
Hello viewers, we are live and breaking. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. We will put our focus on the Twisha Sharma case. Justice for Twisha campaign has yielded results thanks to you viewers. And now we see the CBI is taking over the case and FIRs have been re-registered. We'll get to all the updates and we're getting our viewers the updates as the investigation continues to find the truth. But the headlines first, let's get started. Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah, Deputy CM D.K. Shivakumar in Delhi Congress High Command firefights Karnataka leadership issue. CBI registers new case in Twisha's death case. Complaint states Twisha was subjected to continuous mental and physical harassment. SIT conducted a real-time crime scene recreation and spot visit in Twisha death case lasting over 2 hours. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar to host Quad Foreign Ministers meeting today. Foreign ministers from US, Japan and Australia to hold joint press meeting with External Affairs Minister Jaishankar in Delhi. Delhi Gymkhana Club moves Delhi High Court against central government order to vacate 27.3-acre premises. CNG gets costlier in Delhi NCR. CNG hiked by rupees 2 per kg. CNG to now cost rupees 83.03 rupees per kg. Alright viewers, getting you some breaking news coming in right now. In fact, we will tell you about the SIT recreating the crime scene at Giribala's house. We'll tell you a little bit more about what's happening because the crime scene is being recreated and spot visit in Twisha death case is something that we would be tracking closely because the crime scene recreation and spot visit in Twisha death case is lasting over 2 hours, and Samarth has been taken to the crime spot. Remember, in such cases, whenever the crime scene is being recreated in any kind of criminal case, we see that the accused are taken to the crime spot so the investigating team can recreate, I repeat, can recreate what actually happened. The probe is deepening in the case, viewers. Also telling you that yesterday we saw a big development coming in where the CBI has officially taken over the investigation into the death of Twisha and re-registered FIRs after receiving the case files from the Madhya Pradesh police. Okay, we have our colleague Satya Vijay, who is on the ground and getting us this report. Let's take a listen in.
समर्थ सिंह को लेकर एसआईटी की जो टीम है वो समर्थ के घर पे पहुंच रही है। एसआईटी की टीम यहां पर जो है स्पॉट विजिट या फिर आप कहें कि सीन रिक्रिएशन जो है वो करने के लिए पहुंची है। इससे पहले जो एसआईटी की टीम ने 3:30 बजे से 8 बजे तक करीब 3.5 घंटे समर्थ से पूछताछ की और पूछताछ का देखिए ये समर्थ है और एसआईटी के जो मेंबर्स हैं वो साथ में हैं। अब यहाँ घर पे स्पॉट विजिट या जो कहते हैं सीन रिक्रिएट जो है वो पुलिस द्वारा किया जाएगा। ये तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं समर्थ के घर की, जहां पर की एसआईटी की टीम जो है उन्हें लेकर पहुंची हो चुकी है। इसी घर में समर्थ टीम है वो यहां पर जो है समर्थ का ही घर है, यहां पर लेके पहुंची है। गिरिवाला सिंह भी यहीं रहती है जो को एक्यूज्ड है और इसी घर की छत पर जो शेड है जहां पर कि एक टेम्परेरी जिम बना हुआ है उसी जगह पर जो है तुइसा ने फांसी पे लटकी मिली थी और इसीलिए यहां पर स्पॉट विजिट जो पुलिस की एक प्रक्रिया होती है, सीन रिक्रिएशन भी इसे कह सकते हैं, वो करने जो है एसआईटी की टीम पहुंची है। मैंने जैसा कि बताया कि इससे पहले 3:30 बजे से लेकर 8 बजे तक समर्थ से पूछताछ की। पूछताछ में कई चीजें सामने आई, जैसे कि समर्थ ने बताया कि उसने फरारी सीहोर में काटी थी। दूसरी तरफ और भी कुछ चीजें हैं जैसे कि समर्थ ने जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में बताई, लेकिन ये सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सीन होता है क्योंकि सीबीआई किसी भी वक्त केस को टेक ओवर कर सकती है और उससे पहले जो एसआईटी है जो इस मामले में जांच के लिए बनाई गई थी वो यहाँ पर स्पॉट विजिट या सीन रिक्रिएशन करने पहुंची है। गिरवाला सिंह का घर है, इसी घर में छत पर जो शेड है वहां पर जो तुइसा है उसकी फांसी पर लटकी हुई डेड बॉडी मिली थी, जिसे बाद में एम्स ले जाया गया और उसके बाद से पूरा मामला संदेह के घेरे में आया। परिवार के जो तुइसा के परिवार के जो आरोप थे उसके बाद सेकंड पीएम कराया गया और मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक को संज्ञान लेना पड़ा और अब इस मामले की इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे सीबीआई को करना है। समर्थ सिंह को लेकर एसआईटी की जो टीम है वो समर्थ के घर पे पहुंच रही है। एसआईटी की टीम यहां पर जो है स्पॉट विजिट या फिर आप कहें कि सीन रिक्रिएशन जो है वो करने के लिए पहुंची है। इससे पहले जो एसआईटी की टीम ने 3:30 बजे से 8 बजे तक करीब 3.5 घंटे समर्थ से पूछताछ की और पूछताछ का देखिए ये समर्थ है और एसआईटी के जो मेंबर्स हैं वो साथ में हैं। अब यहाँ घर पे स्पॉट विजिट या जो कहते हैं सीन रिक्रिएट जो है वो पुलिस द्वारा किया जाएगा। ये तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं समर्थ के घर की, जहां पर की एसआईटी की टीम जो है उन्हें लेकर पहुंची हो चुकी है। इसी घर में समर्थ टीम है वो यहां पर जो है समर्थ का ही घर है, यहां पर लेके पहुंची है। गिरिवाला सिंह भी यहीं रहती है जो को एक्यूज्ड है और इसी घर की छत पर जो शेड है जहां पर कि एक टेम्परेरी जिम बना हुआ है उसी जगह पर जो है तुइसा ने फांसी पे लटकी मिली थी और इसीलिए यहां पर स्पॉट विजिट जो पुलिस की एक प्रक्रिया होती है, सीन रिक्रिएशन भी इसे कह सकते हैं, वो करने जो है एसआईटी की टीम पहुंची है। मैंने जैसा कि बताया कि इससे पहले 3:30 बजे से लेकर 8 बजे तक समर्थ से पूछताछ की। पूछताछ में कई चीजें सामने आई, जैसे कि समर्थ ने बताया कि उसने फरारी सीहोर में काटी थी। दूसरी तरफ और भी कुछ चीजें हैं जैसे कि समर्थ ने जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में बताई, लेकिन ये सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सीन होता है क्योंकि सीबीआई किसी भी वक्त केस को टेक ओवर कर सकती है और उससे पहले जो एसआईटी है जो इस मामले में जांच के लिए बनाई गई थी वो यहाँ पर स्पॉट विजिट या सीन रिक्रिएशन करने पहुंची है। गिरवाला सिंह का घर है, इसी घर में छत पर जो शेड है वहां पर जो तुइसा है उसकी फांसी पर लटकी हुई डेड बॉडी मिली थी, जिसे बाद में एम्स ले जाया गया और उसके बाद से पूरा मामला संदेह के घेरे में आया। परिवार के जो तुइसा के परिवार के जो आरोप थे उसके बाद सेकंड पीएम कराया गया और मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक को संज्ञान लेना पड़ा और अब इस मामले की इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे सीबीआई को करना है।
Coming in, this is a very important update that we have for you. The belt was not produced even during second autopsy. The belt has become a subject of a big controversy there because earlier also there was a lot of question mark over the belt. Police negligence has once again come to light in the Trisha case. According to sources, even the team from AIIMS Delhi, which by the way arrived to conduct a second post-mortem, was not shown the belt allegedly used in the suicide. The police informed the AIIMS team that the belt was currently with the forensic unit. Subsequently, the police has written a formal letter to the FSL team regarding the matter. On Monday, 13 days after the incident occurred, the police conducted a spot verification. The investigative team remained at the residence for 2 hours and collected mobile phones, laptops and other evidence to incorporate into the investigation. Throughout this case, the conduct and methodology of the police has consistently remained under a cloud of suspicion. The belt not produced even during the second autopsy. Sources say that autopsy team has not been given the belt for examination. We're trying to go across to reporters. We have Shambhavi. Shambhavi, the first time, when Republic was reporting on the case and we exposed a lot of lapses, this is one of the lapses that Republic had exposed. The belt was missing the first time around, and there were lapses from the police's side. Once again, we see that the belt was not produced during the second autopsy. Where is the belt? A crucial evidence in this case.
Well, yes, originally what was there in the first post-mortem report is that Trisha allegedly hung herself using a gymnastic rope. And because it usually is very long, she had to allegedly tie it twice around her neck. That is why the 2 ligature marks. Later, it was produced once, again, Republic bought it up very aggressively in its campaign calling for justice for Trisha. And then it was taken a hold of. Whether the fact that it was not accounted for in a post-mortem 2 is still not verified. Because although it was taken in account or taken in custody late, it was taken a hold of, but it was post the first post-mortem. So it was not accounted for in the first post-mortem report. Even the police had agreed that they did not take the belt that you're saying, the gymnastic rope earlier. So, of course, this is just another one of the lapses, another one of the inconsistencies that we have seen in this entire investigation since start. And this has been on the part of police, be it not registering of FIR since the beginning and intimidating the family, saying that we will not file an FIR until and unless you take your daughter's body, because they wanted the body to be cremated as soon as possible because they were scared. Allegedly, they were scared that what will happen if the second post-mortem report comes out and it might point at the inconsistencies that we have been pointing since forever now. And now that they were taken, there was just yesterday night around 9 p.m. till it went on till 11:30 p.m. Then a dedicated SIT team bought Samad Singh at the house and they recreated what happened that day in real time. Because as per the CCTV footage, we saw that Trisha Sharma went upstairs at 10:10 p.m. And just 2 hours later, Samad Singh went upstairs and everything happened within minutes later. When there were others who went upstairs and brought Trisha Sharma down, there were 3 people, Samad Singh, Swaraj Singh, and the servant who was there, 3 people. So they not only recreated what happened that day, but recreated everything in real time so that there is no angle which was left to be investigated, Shivangi.
That's right. Shambhavi, before you just joined us right now, but before that, we were also discussing about the recreation of the crime scene. So that is something which has also happened. And if you could just help us understand, what do we know about it? In these cases, the accused Samarth was brought to help recreate the crime scene. What do we know about this latest development?
Well, see, once the case is being reinvestigated, because we have pointed out, Republic has specially pointed out all the lapses and irregularities in the entire case, in this entire course of investigation of around 13, 14 days till now, from 12th of May. So now that the case is being reinvestigated, this is Samad's second visit to his house to recreate the scene. He has already come once to the house, has helped recreate the scene with the team. And then day before yesterday, there was forensics team who was there, again collecting all the forensic evidences that might have been left at the spot. And yesterday, the SIT was there with Samad Singh. It is also being said that even the CBI is going to take Samad. Once CBI is going to take custody of Samad Singh, they are also going to take Samad to his house and recreate the entire thing. So this is going to be a long process, because we are starting this investigation from scratch because of the alleged irregularities that we have seen in this case through and through. There will be starting this entire... They will be starting this entire investigation, starting from re-registering of the case, which was earlier registered at the Katara Hills Police Station, to taking custody of Samad Singh, to getting all the documents, important WhatsApp chats, and everything which is crucial to prove or to show everybody or us what exactly happened behind the doors on the night of 12th of May. So even the CBI might also take Samad Singh back to his house to recreate the scene, just like SIT did yesterday night. Shivagi.
All right. Okay, well, thank you for getting those details, Shambhu. We'll be coming back to you for more, because remember, Republic's campaign has set the ball rolling. Now the investigation is on the right track. Thank you, Shambhavi, and all our reporters who've been tracking the story very closely. Okay, viewers, let's go ahead to Karnataka. Karnataka is having its own set of problems in terms of the CM post tussle has now come to light. And now the entire issue has moved to Delhi. Karnataka Congress tussle has now reached Delhi as CM Siddaramaiah and Deputy CM DK Shivakumar have been rushed to the capital for a crucial meeting with the Congress High Command amid growing speculation over the state's leadership tussle and a possible cabinet reshuffle. Siddaramaiah confirmed he was summoned for an 11 a.m. meeting after receiving a call from the AICC General Secretary KC Venugopal, though he claimed he was unaware of the agenda. Shivakumar, who earlier said he would travel only if called, later confirmed his visit, signaling the seriousness of the discussion. Sources say Congress President Kharge, Rahul Gandhi and Venugopal recently decided to address the prolonged uncertainty over Karnataka's leadership arrangement. Speculation around an alleged power-sharing agreement between Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar has kept political temperatures high ever since the Congress formed the government in 2023. So the Congress once again walking a tightrope as the two camps are battling it out. I want to go across to my colleague Abhishek, who's joining us. Yes, Abhishek. Now we know the cabinet reshuffle has been pending for months and months. A lot of dissatisfaction within the cabinet and the MLAs over portfolio allocation and a lot more. Not the first time. And we see two camps here battling it out. We're talking about Siddaramaiah camp and the Shivakumar camp. What's the latest coming in?
Well, with respect to the developments of the Karnataka state in Delhi, it is very clear that the High Command of the Congress wants to expand or reshuffle the cabinet as per the request of the Chief Minister PM Siddaramaiah. We shouldn't forget the fact that PM Siddaramaiah on multiple occasions had requested the High Command to reshuffle or expand the cabinet because it was promised to various other MLAs and MLCs that there will be a cabinet reshuffle happening after the first term, that is the 2.5 years tenure of the 5-year government. We have also seen in multiple occasions that many of the MLAs, be it on the side of CM Siddaramaiah or be it on the side of DK Shivakumar, had visited Delhi to meet with the High Command to request them to reshuffle the cabinet and give way for the MLAs who have been contesting or who have been representing various other constituents for the last 4 to 5 terms. And at this point of time, it is also mentioned that the High Command of the Congress, which is inclusive of Mallikarjuna Kharge, KC Venugopal, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, will be addressing and taking the opinion and sharing some information with PM Siddaramaiah. And this will be on a one-to-one basis, and this meeting will not include DK Shivakumar on the primary note. There will also be another round of discussion with KPCC President and DCM DK Shivkumar, in which PM.
All right, viewers, shifting our focus to the latest pictures that you are seeing on your screens. This is the crucial Quad Foreign Ministers meeting at the invitation of External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong, Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi, and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will participate in the high-level talks in the national capital. The meeting is expected to focus on strengthening the Quad's vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific while reviewing progress on key initiatives ranging from regional security to economic technological cooperation. So big updates coming in here on Republic, and a big buzz there with top foreign ministers having that meet for the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting. And these are the pictures we're getting for you on your screen. The Quad meeting has started, and let's see what's happening there.
At a global level, we have to address issues like supply chain resilience, connectivity choke points, manufacturing and resource concentrations, and gaps in critical infrastructure. Each one of them offers a new opportunity for more technologies. The Indo-Pacific has, in addition, its own particular concerns. This will require enhancing strategic confidence, ensuring maritime security, promoting economic choices, and fostering a deeper collaborative ethos. And that is best done by promoting trusted and transparent partnerships. Over the past several months, our officials have advanced collaboration across key Quad priorities, including maritime security, critical technologies, economic resilience, and HADR. We have seen encouraging progress on many initiatives. As maritime democracies, pluralistic societies, and market economies, we share a responsibility towards a free and open Indo-Pacific. The region must remain a driver of global growth and stability. We will be underlining that today, through our deliberations, which I'm confident will be useful and productive. I thank you all for being here, and I would request you to make your opening remarks, starting with Australia. So over to you, Penny.
Thank you very much, Minister Jaishankar, and can I thank you for hosting us here in Delhi, for bringing us together. We meet in the world's largest democracy and a power that is so important in the shaping of the Indo-Pacific and the world. And to Secretary Rubio, can I acknowledge that since you have been in office, the leadership that you have shown on the Quad, I think your very first meeting after you were sworn in, we appreciate it. And Minister Motegi has been there from the very beginning. So he's one of the original Quad ministers, so thank you for your leadership as well. I wanted to start by reflecting on a point that Minister Jaishankar made at one of our earlier Quads in Washington, I think, and you spoke about choices and about doing what we can together to ensure that the Indo-Pacific and the countries within it have the freedom of choice on their security and on asserting their sovereign interests, their freedom of choice on their development and on the future of the region we all share. And that is central to how Australia approaches our engagement in the Quad. It's why this partnership and this meeting matters so much to Australia. And it matters to us, it matters to the region, and therefore it matters to the world. I think we all understand we meet today with a region that is under pressure, accelerating contest, a deteriorating strategic environment, and acute economic stress. We are four sovereign nations. We have our own histories, our own interests, but there is great alignment between our interests. And we all share a vision for the Indo-Pacific, a region that is free and open, a region that is peaceful, stable and prosperous. And we each bring our unique perspective, experiences and strengths together as we work to achieve such a region. As the Quad, we've delivered concrete results when we've responded to natural disasters, when we've mobilised to support communities affected by things like the earthquake in Myanmar or the landslide in Papua New Guinea. We've also cooperated on critical infrastructure, undersea cables, we've cooperated on maritime security, and we've cooperated on critical minerals. We all want the Quad to be as strong and as effective as we can make it be, focused on delivering, and we are determined to continue its momentum. This is the future we want for our region, peaceful, stable, prosperous region, and today we continue the work to build that. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. May I now request Japan, Mr. Motegi.
Thank you, Jay. I'll speak in Japanese. 本日日米豪印外相会合を開催できることを嬉しく思います。
Foreign Ministers meeting today.
I'll wait. 本日日米豪印外相会合を開催できることを嬉しく思います。主催いただいた J に感謝をいたします。前回私が外務大臣になった2019年の9月、初めての日米豪印外相会談が開催をされました。日米豪印には個人的にも思い入れがあります。今回11回目となる外相会合の開催は日米豪印が自由で開かれたインド太平洋保育の実現に向け実践的な協力を力強く推進していくとの揺るぎないメッセージになると考えています。保育が提唱されてからちょうど10年になりますが、この間に国際秩序の構造的な変化が生じております。こうした時代の変化に対応するため、高市総理は保育を進化させる表明をいたしました。その主なポイントは、域内各国が自らの将来を自らの手で決めるために必要な自立性、強靭性、これは経済安全保障でもエネルギー安全保障でもそうでありますが、この自立性、強靭性を強化することであります。本日はこうした観点も踏まえて、日米豪印協力の加速のため、率直な議論を行いたいと思います。
Thank you so much. Thank you, Toshi. Could I request
ありがとうございます。では、リリーさんお願いします。
Over the last 3 days, not just, I want to thank Minister Jay Shankar and the Indian government for hosting us here, not just in the bilateral visit over the last 3 days, but for hosting this important gathering here again today. I want to thank Toshi and Penny as well for joining us, your willingness to come over here and do this. And it comes at an important time. It was our goal, as I began as Secretary of State, and has been pointed out earlier, my first meeting as a Secretary of State was the Quad, literally within minutes of being sworn in, and I thought that demonstrated our commitment to this process. But our goal collectively over the last year has been to turn this from a forum in which we meet and talk about problems to one where we actually do something about it. And I think we can report to our peoples, respectively, that we are beginning to do that pretty aggressively and pretty impressively on the areas of cooperation. And it's also interesting that on the areas that we are working together on have become even more relevant and more important because of recent events around the world. And so today, I think we'll make even further progress on operationalizing our relationship on the areas that we can cooperate on. And by the way, the most interesting thing about the Quad is not simply that it is a gathering of 4 strategic allies in which we come together to sort of compare notes about areas of common interest, but also, not only is it increasingly becoming a forum by which we begin to take action, but each of these 4 nations represented here today bring unique capabilities that collectively we can bring to bear on some of the most significant problems facing the world, whether it's a humanitarian response, whether it's the security of energy, whether it's the freedom of navigation, whether it's the need to diversify our supplies of not just energy, but critical minerals and supply chains. These are areas where all 4 of our countries, collectively and individually, can bring tremendous assets to bear in terms of solving these problems. So thank you for hosting us, and I know we're going to continue to not just meet but take action, because a lot of work happens after our meetings. Our staffs go back, they coordinate year-round constantly. We have people at the State Department that are specifically assigned to this relationship and to this forum and to turning it into action. And today we'll just continue to build upon the momentum that already exists and hopefully begin to increasingly show to the people of our respective countries the momentum that's behind this gathering of strategic allies. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So we will now give the press time to relocate and then resume our discussions.
All right, viewers, so you can see a huge the event there. You can see the most important foreign ministers from across the globe are present. Japanese foreign minister, Australian foreign minister, and also Marco Rubio, who from the US, who has said the goal is to turn Quad into a more action-oriented bloc. Okay, let's go straight across to my colleague Ishita, who's joining us. Ishita, this is huge event there. It's a Quad meet of foreign ministers, and they have all descended down in the national capital, being hosted by India. Key Quad meeting being hosted by India. Yes, Ishita.
Right, of course, Shvamangi, it's a big day for diplomacy as far as New Delhi is concerned. All the foreign ministers of the Quad members, whether it's Australia, Japan and the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, are in the capital city. In fact, just a short while ago, we heard the opening remarks coming in from the foreign ministers and the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio as well, who all mentioned that despite the focus being on having an open and free Indo-Pacific, the tensions in West Asia is something that will come up for discussions today. Now, remember, the Strait of Hormuz is still blocked as Iran maintains control over it. There is a US blockade imposed around Iranian ports. So this has essentially impacted the maritime trade, which will in fact overshadow discussions today. Now, you heard all the foreign ministers give out their opening remarks just a short while ago, and they talked about having building up on the discussions that were last held in July 2025, and now they're going to build up on how the cooperation which comes in different sectors, whether it's maritime security, access to critical minerals, or resilient supply chains, with how and whether that can be operationalized in this meeting. Now, that's going to be the big agenda as far as Quad is concerned, and New Delhi, of course, is leading those discussions. It is heading as it tries to set an agenda on what happens in Indo-Pacific.
That's right. Okay, so we have what's on the agenda on our screens. Escalating crisis in West Asia being one of the key points which are being discussed. New Delhi is hosting the foreign ministers of the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue Quad. That meeting is happening now as we speak. Now, we know that they're exchanging views on advancing Quad cooperation across priority areas, and also reflecting on current developments in the Indo-Pacific region and other international issues of mutual concern. One of the concerns, of course, being emerging technologies, cybersecurity, and a lot more. Going back to Ishita, if we have Ishita with us, just Ishita, take us through which are the concerns and issues that the Quad foreign ministers are discussing.
Right, of course. Now, if you look at the intention and the aim with which Quad was established, it was about having a freedom of navigation in Pacific waters. It was about having open and free Indo-Pacific. Now, we have seen countries like China becoming more assertive in these waters, specifically the Pacific waters. So, Quad essentially is trying to emerge as a stabilizing force, as a bloc that can provide stability at a time when there is churn all around the world. Now, we are witnessing economic shocks coming in from the tensions in West Asia. So, Quad here emerges as a stabilizing force in West Asia, and not just in West Asia, in fact, across the Indo-Pacific, where it can help the countries to have resilient supply chains and ensure that there is maritime security and the trade across the world can be, conducted in a smooth and transparent manner. Now, that is on the agenda to ensure that there is maritime security and there are resilient supply chains. So, therefore, in that discussions, West Asia tensions will come up for sure, because we have seen, despite 3 months into this war, there is no peace or no breakthrough in sight. Today only we had strikes conducted by the US on Iran's southern coast. So these are the tensions, the challenges that the leaders will be discussing, and also what will be their strategy going forward as far as Quad is concerned, because they have
that's right. Ishita, I wanted to hold on for a second there. I'm being joined by our guest, Mr. K.P. Fabian, former diplomat. Thank you for joining us here, sir, on Republic TV. And we see the Quad foreign ministers descending upon their national capital. India is hosting a very important Quad meeting. According to you, if you could help our viewers understand why this meeting is important, given the fact India is hosting it and the current scenario in the world. Mr. Fabian, sir, can you hear us? Okay, we'll go back to our guest, but I want to go back to my colleague Ishita once again. Ishita, yes, go ahead and take our viewers through the latest that we are getting for our viewers, because Marco Rubio was speaking and he actually spoke about all the issues that the Quad needs to solve. So talking about supply chains, maritime security, access to critical minerals, resilient supply chains, all of this is on the agenda. Okay, Mr. Fabian's back with us, former diplomat. Sir, can you hear us?
We can hear you very well.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you can hear us, sir. India is hosting a very important Quad meeting, and we see that the top foreign ministers of growing and established economies are here in the national capital. According to you, how significant is this particular Quad meeting?
We hold that this Quad meeting hosted by India is very, very important given the geopolitical situation. Now, I have a question, and I hope this Quad meeting will answer that indirectly, because President Trump, while in Beijing, had spoken about a G2, meaning China and the United States. So if President Trump is serious about a G2, then there is no scope for Quad. But, President Trump often says things he's not serious about. So let us see whether, America is serious about Quad.
Yes. Mr. Fabian, also, if you could just come on in here and speak about the significance of Marco Rubio, who's on his first official visit to India. So that is also something to really talk about here.
Yes, it's a very important visit, especially in the context of, Indo-American relations. We all know about the delay in reaching a trade deal, delay caused mainly by the United States, making demands which are not logical, and so it is important that this visit has taken place, and let us hope that the trade deal acceptable to India will be realized very soon. And as regards the good words spoken about India and Prime Minister Modi by President Trump, we appreciate that. So we do recall that he had also made statements which are not that good. But if there is a change in the American attitude, if they have recognized the need for strengthening, deepening, and broadening Indo-US relations, that is a very good change, and we should all welcome it and work on it.
Right. Mr. Fabian, we've seen that Jaishankar has specifically spoken about India and Japan. India and Japan, he says, they have a very special relationship, a special strategic and global partnership. And they're also meeting to advance free and open the Indo-Pacific. So particularly the India-Japan relationship is something that India is keen on expanding further.
Yes, it is in the interest of both Japan and India to strengthen their relations. And, one thing is that Japan gives a good deal of amount by way of external assistance. Now, India has the technology and the manpower to implement the projects. Now, something is being done, but I'm sure that much more can be done. But coming to the basic question of the Indo-Pacific, I want to make a point which may not be very popular, because China has continued with its, artificial island making, and it has continued with its aggressive gestures against the Philippines, for example. And Quad has not been able to do anything much about it.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for getting us all those details and giving us your perspective, Mr. Fabian, former diplomat, joining us there, really trying to decode for us why this Quad is important and how Quad is countering China at a time when we're seeing upheaval globally, including the West Asia situation. All right. Let's move ahead, viewers, to the other stories we're tracking. Dr. R. Sridhar, veteran radio broadcaster with experience of more than 5 decades, will be honored with the Padma Shri for his exceptional contribution to visualizing and adopting futuristic technologies in radio and audio podcast. Popularly known for his path-breaking interactive radio programs, he enabled the early use of satellite technology to link remote regions such as Leh, Lakshadweep, and Antarctica. Take a look at this report as we give you the latest updates.
The scientist who tuned into people. Dr. R. Sridhar, Padma Shri 2026.
I always start with my new initiative with zero budget. And I got the coordination, cooperation of many people, many government organizations.
The Madras Christian College in Tambaram, Chennai, one of Asia's prestigious liberal arts institutions, had a deep impact on Dr. Sridhar's life. His dear grandfather, who raised him, was the head of department of Tamil there. His maternal uncle, who was visually impaired, made him produce a handwritten magazine, which led to a column on popular science in the famous paper Swadesa Mitran. When Dr. Sridhar finished his PhD in chemistry, he wanted to be a professor in the MCC. Alas, that did not happen.
It came an opportunity of All India Radio, and having written in the newspapers and magazine about science, it came in handy. I was selected as a first science reporter of All India Radio Network.
Dr. Sridhar spent the next 23 years with All India Radio in Chennai, Coimbatore, and then Delhi. All the time, Dr. Sridhar was involved in organizing science festivals and sammelans, using the medium for education. He followed his belief that radio should be interactive and participatory, a new direction for the medium. In 1991, along with the Department of Science and Technology, he launched Vigyan Vidhi series of programs in 18 languages for children.
When a fix like Ramayana and Mahabharata can run in television for years, why not have a long-running radio serial?
The radio program, The Story of Man, Manav Ka Vikas, was created. It was the world's longest-running science serial on radio for children. Such a scale has never been reached before or after. After stints with Doordarshan and Indira Gandhi National Open University, which saw him launch Gyan Darshan channels, Dr. Sridhar found himself in Chennai's Anna University, where he launched the country's first community radio channel in 2004.
Community radio is a low-cost, low-powered radio station serving a community of 15 kilometers radius. It can be set up in a 10 by 10 studio like this, and this is not radio jockey based. It's by the people, for the people, and from the people.
Community radio has spread to over 550 locations, a lot of them in rural areas. He has rightfully been called the father of community radio in the country. Dr. Sridhar believes that technologies like Digital Radio Mondial offer an efficient, versatile solution and should be adopted at scale. With digital, radio can now have a visual element. Dr. Sridhar exemplifies innovation in public service. He refused to accept constraints throughout his career.
Community radio needs little investment. There are government subsidies too. Community radio content should be crowd created, crowd sourced, crowd managed, and crowd monitored. I would like to see every village in this Bharat to have a community radio to reflect the voice of the people.
Dr. R. Sridhar, Padma Shri 2026.
Kodi Kodi Namaskar.
And taking a short break, viewers, do not go anywhere. SIT conducts a real-time crime scene recreation and spot visit in the Trisha death case. Now, this crime recreation lasted around 2 hours. We'll get to all those details. Stay tuned. We will continue to be live and breaking here.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट
अब बताओ स्वाद आया
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट.
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released. But when he comes out, this rape accused, garlands are put on him as if he's some kind of a hero, as if he's achieved something great. Is a rapist to be celebrated, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you that question. And more than anyone else, I ask the right wing of this country. Very often I come on television and I say, yes, on several issues, I'm happy to be called a right-winger. But ladies and gentlemen, let me put it clearly. You cannot let a person like this man, this Sushil Prajapati, a leader of the Hindu Yuva Vahini, a local thug, a man accused of rape, you cannot celebrate his act of rape or celebrate the fact that the rapist is out on bail. If that is the message we want to send to our society, and
All right, we're getting to some more updates coming in. Tensions are flaring yet again, viewers, in West Asia after the US military carried out what it calls a self-defense strikes inside southern Iran. According to the CENTCOM, we see that American forces are targeting missile launch sites at Iranian boats near the Strait of Hormuz, after 2 Revolutionary Guard vessels were allegedly caught laying naval miles in the strategic waterway. US officials say a surface-to-air missiles site in other areas like Bandar Abbas was also destroyed after reportedly targeting American warplanes. So we see once again there's some escalation. Explosions were later reported in multiple areas like Sirik, just along Iran's southern coast. Meanwhile, President Trump has intensified pressure on Tehran, demanding Iran surrender its enriched uranium to the United States for destruction, while also floating the possibility of expanding the Abraham Accords as part of a broader regional peace push. So this is what we see right now, viewers. Once again, a little bit of a escalation that we're seeing between US and Iran. There are some fresh strikes. US has stricken a couple of areas, and Tehran is yet to respond to these strikes. Very important to note that Tehran is yet to respond to these latest US strikes. So back-to-back updates coming in. New American aggression. US military launching new strikes on southern Iran, targeting Iranian missile sites and boats, attempting to place mines in what it described as self-defense action. The Trump is saying that it is action of self-defense. Attacks came as Tehran's top negotiators were in Doha for talks with Qatar's prime minister on a potential deal to end the 3-month-old war with US and Israel. US Central Command in a statement said the fresh strikes were taken in self-defense to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces, according to the US agency. The targets include missile launch sites and boats trying to place those mines. Okay, so let's look at the points of friction between these two, US and Iran. You can see that on your screens there. And once again, let's tell you that Iran has not yet responded to the latest strikes. And now the US Central Command is saying that America is defending their forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire. We're getting breaking news coming in. Let's go ahead. The incarcerated Dera Sauda chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim is once again out on parole. The jail sect leader is now receiving his 16th temporary release since 2020, despite serving a 20-year sentence for raping 2 women disciples. With this latest 30-day parole, Ram Rahim has spent more than 400 days outside prison during his 8-year jail term. He was granted 40 days of parole in January. So big updates coming in here on Republic TV. And what we see is that this is the latest release that Ram Rahim has got. I repeat, the latest release that Ram Rahim has got, because he keeps getting parole and he's got parole once again. The Haryana government has released Ram Rahim, the Dera Sauda chief and convict in rape cases. Gurmeet Ram Rahim in 30 days parole. He will be returning back on June 24th. So June 24th is the date for him to go back. But for now, he is on parole. It's the second time that the controversial preacher has been released by the state government on parole this year alone, and 16th time overall. Earlier in January this year, he was granted 40 days parole by the state government. With the release of 30-day parole, the Dera chief would consume all his parole period, and he's now left with only 21 days furlough. Now, as per the jail manual, convict is entitled to 70 days parole and 21 days furlough in a calendar year. Viewers, this is a major development in the Tushar Sharma death case. Retired Judge Giribala has sought an adjournment in Madhya Pradesh High Court. Her legal team claims that they did not duly receive the petition filed by Tushar's family seeking the cancellation of the anticipatory bail. The question now is also whether Giribala can argue her own case. Watch this report for more.
I'm not saying it could be the Supreme Court's view. In my view, could be responsible for destroying, tampering and botching up all the evidences that could be there. Using her expert legal mind, using her expert experience as a Sessions Court judge, and using also her surely a very crooked mind to safeguard this. She definitely can argue, and every person has a right in law to argue his or her case. In this case, that we have an expert ex-Sessions Court judge who's dealt with these kind of cases, hundreds or thousands, if I may use that word, and obviously she knows all the nuances. Secondly, she may have categorically from the day one, when, as you said, that whilst the body was taken down and gone to the AIMS, she was sitting and making calls, so she must have got some advice from her friends who are from the legal fraternity. She may have herself made a lot of notes about it, and she thought who better than her as a lady and as an ex-judge appealing to them, to their lordships, would be able to put forward the case that this is a case of abuse of the law. This is the case of false allegations and accusations being made. This is a case where the media has sort of given it too much of importance and this is how it has happened, and none of the things which are there. Obviously, in my limited understanding, and I'm not the judges of the Supreme Court, but obviously this will not sail through with the court, and they will get into and ask her necessary questions which are there. So I think this is something that the Supreme Court, which has taken suo motu cognizance of the severity of the case and the mismanagement and the complete botching up of all the evidences, is something which is going to be an eye-opener, not in the annals of justice and judiciary, but I would also say should, in some case, serve as a deterrent for anybody who is ever going to try such kind of things, because you cannot escape the long arm of the law. The role of the ex-judge Giri Balaji would be also questioned in the sense that not only was she an active accomplice, as one would call it, but also was, in my view, and this is my limited view, I'm not saying it could be the Supreme Court's view, in my view could be responsible for destroying, tampering and botching up all the evidences that could be there. Using her expert legal mind, using her expert experience as a Sessions Court judge, and using also her surely a very crooked mind to safeguard this. Otherwise, you tell me something, how is it that someone like Samarth can be absconding for 10 days? I can understand for a day or two, but for 10 days he was kept in some kind of a safe haven to be away from the police, the investigation and all the other things that follow. So this was very well planned. From, as I understand, from a third person point of view, it was very well planned, very meticulously done, using the legal expertise and the legal brain, and was so sure when she got an anticipatory bail, because if both of them would have been arrested, who would have been present there to sort of tamper the evidence, clear the evidence and not keep any traces of the same. So she was confident that once she gets an anticipatory bail, then she will be at ease and she will have time to do what she thought would be useful, to be able to not get both of them trapped in the prosecution net.
And we were taking a short break. Do not go anywhere. We will tell you more about the investigation. SIT is conducting a real-time crime scene recreation and spot visit in Twisha death case, lasting over 2 hours. That's one of the biggest stories we're getting for you right now. Do not go anywhere. The CBI has taken over the probe in this case, and we'll get you minute-by-minute updates.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी। प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial
in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33...
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, राजा और मसाला,
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He is accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Character, the taste of success.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma. Who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Alright viewers, a very good morning. We are live and we are breaking up. Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. So the Bhopal SIT has recreated the crime scene in the Justice for Twisha case. A CBI has taken over the case as well. We're getting you all those details. The husband Samarth was brought to the crime scene to recreate what happened the evening when Twisha died. We'll get to all those details, but the headlines first. Let's get started. Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah, Deputy CM D.K. Shivakumar in Delhi. Congress High Command firefights Karnataka leadership issue again. CBI registers new case in Tushar's death. Complaint states Tushar was subjected to continuous mental and physical harassment. SIT conducted a real-time crime scene recreation and spot visit in Tushar death case lasting over 2 hours. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar hosts Quad Foreign Ministers meeting today. Foreign ministers from US, Japan and Australia to hold joint press meeting with Jaishankar. Delhi Gymkhana Club moves Delhi High Court against central government order to vacate 27.3-acre premises. CNG gets costlier in Delhi NCR. CNG highway rupees 2 per kg. CNG to now cost rupees 83.03 rupees per kg. All right, viewers, getting you big breaking news coming in, and we are telling our viewers that once again lapses are being seen here in the investigation into the Tushar death case. Belt not produced even during the second autopsy. Police negligence has once again come to light in the Tushar case. According to sources, even the team from AIIMS Delhi, which arrived to conduct a second post-mortem, was not shown the belt allegedly used in the suicide. The police informed the AIIMS team that the belt was currently with the forensic unit. So big updates coming here. Subsequently, the police have written a formal letter to the FSL team regarding this matter on Monday. 13 days after the incident occurred, the police conducted a spot verification. The investigative team remained at the residence for over 2 hours and collected mobile phones, laptops and other evidence to incorporate into the investigation. So big updates coming in here. AIIMS team is saying the belt was not produced even during second autopsy. By the way, this is a source-based information that we're getting for you. So we'll try to get our viewers more updates. Remember, Republic first time had pointed out that the belt was nowhere to be seen during the initial bit of the investigation. When the case first was being investigated, there were a couple of lapses that the public had pointed out. And once again, we're seeing these updates coming in where the belt is not produced even during the second autopsy. Police negligence coming out in the open once again. We had earlier told you about multiple lapses that were clearly in the investigation, in the initial part of the investigation. Now, this is source-based information coming in. Even the team from AIIMS Delhi, which arrived to conduct a second post-mortem, was not shown the belt allegedly used in the suicide. The belt being a very important evidence and a very important part of the investigation. Police informed the AIIMS team that the belt was currently with the forensic unit. Subsequently, the police have written a formal letter to the FSL team regarding this matter. On Monday, 13 days after the incident occurred, the police conducted a spot verification. The investigative team remained at the residence for 2 hours and collected mobile phones, laptops and other evidence to incorporate into the investigation. Getting you some updates coming in. SIT recreates crime scene at Giribala's house. SIT conducted a real-time crime scene recreation and spot visit in the Tushar death case. And this entire recreation lasted for over 2 hours. That's right. Now, let's tell you that every time when there's a case like this, we see the accused is brought to the crime spot to recreate the scene. Now, pictures coming in on your screens, and there you can see, yes, that is Samart. And he is circled in red, viewers, and he was brought to the crime scene, brought back to his house, to the matrimonial home of Tushar, to recreate the crime scene at Giribala's house. We'll try to go across to our reporters too in a short while from now to understand what really happened. But the Bhopal SIT recreating the crime scene, and pictures on the screen of Samart. He's highlighted in red, circled in red, and he's entering his residence to help recreate the crime scene. We have a report by my colleague Satya Vijay, as we also see that accused Samart's laptop, phone, passport and ID cards have already been seized for analysis.
समर्थ सिंह को लेकर एसआईटी की जो टीम है वो समर्थ के घर पे पहुंच रही है। एसआईटी की टीम यहां पर जो है स्पॉट विजिट या फिर आप कहें कि सीन रिक्रिएशन जो है वो करने के लिए पहुंची है। इससे पहले जो एसआईटी की टीम ने 3:30 बजे से 8 बजे तक करीब 3.5 घंटे समर्थ से पूछताछ की और पूछताछ क्या देखिए ये समर्थ है और एसआईटी के जो मेंबर्स हैं वो साथ में हैं। अब यहाँ घर पे स्पॉट विजिट या जो कहते हैं सीन रिक्रिएट जो है वो पुलिस द्वारा किया जाएगा। ये तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं समर्थ के घर की, जहाँ पर की एसआईटी की टीम जो है उन्हें लेकर पहुंची हो चुकी है। इसी घर में समर्थ टीम है वो यहाँ पर जो है समर्थ का ही घर है, यहाँ पर लेके पहुंची है। गिरिवाला सिंह भी यहीं रहती है जो को एक्यूज हैं और इसी घर की छत पर जो शेड है जहाँ पर कि एक टेम्परेरी जिम बना हुआ है उसी जगह पर जो है तुइसा ने फांसी पे लटकी मिली थी और इसीलिए यहाँ पर स्पॉट विजिट जो पुलिस की एक प्रक्रिया होती है, सीन रिक्रिएशन भी इसे कह सकते हैं, वो करने जो है एसआईटी की टीम पहुंची है। मैंने जैसा कि बताया कि इससे पहले 3:30 बजे से लेकर 8 बजे तक समर्थ से पूछताछ की। पूछताछ में कई चीजें सामने आई, जैसे कि समर्थ ने बताया कि उसने फरारी सीहोर में काटी थी। दूसरी तरफ और भी कुछ चीजें हैं जैसे कि समर्थ ने जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में बताई। लेकिन ये सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सीन होता है क्योंकि सीबीआई किसी भी वक्त केस को टेक ओवर कर सकती है और उससे पहले जो एसआईटी है जो इस मामले में जांच के लिए बनाई गई थी वो यहाँ पर स्पॉट विजिट या सीन रिक्रिएशन करने पहुंची है। गिरवाला सिंह का घर है, इसी घर में छत पर जो शेड है वहां पर जो तुइसा है उसकी फांसी पर लटकी हुई डेड बॉडी मिली थी, जिसे बाद में एम्स ले जाया गया और उसके बाद से पूरा मामला संदेह के घेरे में आया। परिवार के जो तुइसा के परिवार के जो आरोप थे उसके बाद सेकंड पीएम कराया गया और मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक को संज्ञान लेना पड़ा और अब इस मामले की इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे सीबीआई को करना है। समर्थ सिंह को लेकर एसआईटी की जो टीम है वो समर्थ के घर पे पहुंच रही है। एसआईटी की टीम यहां पर जो है स्पॉट विजिट या फिर आप कहें कि सीन रिक्रिएशन जो है वो करने के लिए पहुंची है। इससे पहले जो एसआईटी की टीम ने 3:30 बजे से 8 बजे तक करीब 3.5 घंटे समर्थ से पूछताछ की और पूछताछ क्या देखिए ये समर्थ है और एसआईटी के जो मेंबर्स हैं वो साथ में हैं। अब यहाँ घर पे स्पॉट विजिट या जो कहते हैं सीन रिक्रिएट जो है वो पुलिस द्वारा किया जाएगा। ये तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं समर्थ के घर की, जहाँ पर की एसआईटी की टीम जो है उन्हें लेकर पहुंची हो चुकी है। इसी घर में समर्थ टीम है वो यहाँ पर जो है समर्थ का ही घर है, यहाँ पर लेके पहुंची है। गिरिवाला सिंह भी यहीं रहती है जो को एक्यूज हैं और इसी घर की छत पर जो शेड है जहाँ पर कि एक टेम्परेरी जिम बना हुआ है उसी जगह पर जो है तुइसा ने फांसी पे लटकी मिली थी और इसीलिए यहाँ पर स्पॉट विजिट जो पुलिस की एक प्रक्रिया होती है, सीन रिक्रिएशन भी इसे कह सकते हैं, वो करने जो है एसआईटी की टीम पहुंची है। मैंने जैसा कि बताया कि इससे पहले 3:30 बजे से लेकर 8 बजे तक समर्थ से पूछताछ की। पूछताछ में कई चीजें सामने आई, जैसे कि समर्थ ने बताया कि उसने फरारी सीहोर में काटी थी। दूसरी तरफ और भी कुछ चीजें हैं जैसे कि समर्थ ने जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में बताई। लेकिन ये सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सीन होता है क्योंकि सीबीआई किसी भी वक्त केस को टेक ओवर कर सकती है और उससे पहले जो एसआईटी है जो इस मामले में जांच के लिए बनाई गई थी वो यहाँ पर स्पॉट विजिट या सीन रिक्रिएशन करने पहुंची है। गिरवाला सिंह का घर है, इसी घर में छत पर जो शेड है वहां पर जो तुइसा है उसकी फांसी पर लटकी हुई डेड बॉडी मिली थी, जिसे बाद में एम्स ले जाया गया और उसके बाद से पूरा मामला संदेह के घेरे में आया। परिवार के जो तुइसा के परिवार के जो आरोप थे उसके बाद सेकंड पीएम कराया गया और मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक को संज्ञान लेना पड़ा और अब इस मामले की इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे सीबीआई को करना है।
All right, viewers, getting you more updates coming in. Karnataka tussle over Chief Minister's post has now come to New Delhi as CM Siddaramaiah and Deputy CM D.K. Shivakumar have been rushed to the capital for a crucial meeting with the Congress High Command amid growing speculation over the state's leadership tussle and a possible cabinet reshuffle. Siddaramaiah confirmed he was summoned for an 11 a.m. meeting after receiving a call from AICC General Secretary K.C. Venugopal, though he claimed he was unaware of the agenda. Shivakumar, who earlier said he would travel only if called, later confirmed his visit, signaling the seriousness of the discussion. Sources say that Congress President Kharge, Rahul Gandhi and Venugopal recently decided to address the prolonged uncertainty over Karnataka's leadership arrangement. Speculation around an alleged power-sharing agreement between Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar have kept political temperatures high ever since the Congress formed the government in 2023. And we will try to go across to our colleague in a short while from now. On Republic, we will try to go across to Abhishek in a short while. But once again, the tussle between these two camps, we talk about DKS camp and we talk about Siddaramaiah camp. The tussle between these two camps once again has led to the High Command intervening in this case. So now we will be getting our viewers more updates as we'll try to go across to our colleague once again to understand what the latest is. But once again, these two camps are really not getting along well because we see that both these camp leaders with Siddaramaiah, DK Shivakumar landing in Delhi, and we are still waiting for what this meeting with the High Command would be about. So huge political buzz that there could be a change in leadership. Now, that's a buzz that we have been speculating about for a while now. But from now, what we see is that DK Shivakumar has said that I have been summoned to Delhi. I do not know the subject of discussion. I have a meeting at 11 a.m. Speculation will always be there, the CM said, referencing the leadership tussle between him and his deputy DK Shivakumar. Deputy CM DK Shivakumar has not been invited to the Delhi meeting. However, the Congress leader landed in the national capital late in the evening, and now we see that these Congress leaders will be meeting the High Command. Okay, so we will try to go across to our colleague. Siddaramaiah, remember, has made history by becoming the longest-serving CM of Karnataka, surpassing any previous record. But the power tussle between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar continues. And even though earlier they said their issues were resolved, we continuously see there is a lot of buzz and speculation about dissatisfaction when it comes to the MLAs and when it comes to portfolios. So now, once again, the Congress tussle has reached Delhi. There's a key meet in Delhi. We have a reaction coming in. Let's play it out.
ಕೆಲವು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕೆಲವು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
Yes, so Siddaramaiah and DKS camp to meet Congress High Command, and now we see that Congress tussle has now reached the national capital. We'll try to go across to a colleague in a short while. Yes, we have Abhishek joining us once again. Yes, Abhishek, we remember a few months ago when Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, they had a meeting. They said everything is well between us, everything is good between us. But is it, Abhishek? Because once again, we understand there's a buzz about dissatisfaction about portfolios, and once again, a leadership tussle coming out in the open. What will happen at that meeting in Delhi?
Well, the meeting is set to begin at 11 in the morning in Indira Bhavan. The high voltage meeting will consist of K.C. Venugopal, Mallikarjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, whom together will be faced by CM Siddaramaiah. And this meeting is supposed to be, as per sources of Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, it is the primary agenda of the meeting is the extensive reach of the special intensive revision protest. The Congress had alleged the fact that after the special intensive revision was taken into consideration, they had to lose the election in the majority of 5 states, and at this point of time they want to continue the protest in not only Karnataka but throughout the entire country. And with respect to the protest which has to be held in Karnataka, there will be a direction given to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah along with the DCM DK Shivkumar. The second point is the upcoming Rajya Sabha elections. Congress will have to nominate the leaders from the Karnataka state, and the names of these leaders will have to be discussed, might be discussed in today's meeting. On the other hand, if we come into the actual picture of the Karnataka scenario with respect to the power tussle which has been happening in the state for the last probably 6 to 8 months, it was K.N. Rajana, the former Minister of Karnataka, who had mentioned that there will be a major reshuffle or a leadership change in the month of November 2025. However, after 6 to 7 months after claiming Rajana's statement, CM Siddaramaiah, DK Shivkumar along with various other MLAs and ministers had requested the High Command of the Congress to make sure that this questions which is placed in front of the government, which is placed in front of the citizens of Karnataka, be answered immediately by the High Command, because none of the persons even within the cabinet and in the secretariat also knew if the Chief Minister will continue for the next tenure as well. Initially, there was a saying or a rumor that the CM and the DCM had agreed upon a power sharing ratio as a T20 pattern, where 2.5 years of the first term will be taken over by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, and the next 2.5 years will be taken over by DK Shivkumar as a Chief Minister. However, this decision hasn't been brought into the force, is what the closest aides of DK Shivkumar mentioned to the media. On the other hand, the closest aides and the loyalists of CM Siddaramaiah press on the fact that CM Siddaramaiah be continued as the Chief Minister because there is no anti-incumbency against the governance of CM Siddaramaiah, and there is no reason, no practical reason, no technical reason as to why CM Siddaramaiah has to step down from the position of Chief Minister. However, the High Command is yet to give out a statement if there is going to be a leadership change. Even before the meeting at Indira Bhavan, which is supposed to start at 11, the loyalists of CM Siddaramaiah, H.C. Mahadevappa, Satish Jarkioli, Dr. G. Parmeshwar, M.B. Patil, M.R. Sitaram, B.K. Hariprasad and various other leaders have already assembled within the 4th floor of Karnataka Bhavan, where CM is actually waiting. He's getting ready to move to the Indira Bhavan for the meeting which has been set at around 11 in the morning. On the other hand, sources also claim that CM Siddaramaiah isn't astonished or isn't surprised by the call that he's received from the High Command, because he had very clearly requested the High Command to expand or reshuffle the Karnataka state government cabinet, and this is why he has received a call as per the plan, and this is not an unplanned meet, is what the sources of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah claims. On the other hand, the capacity of Deputy Chief Minister is the KPCC President, so he will have to be taken into consideration if any reshuffle is about to happen, if any expansion is about to happen. The pros and cons of every single MLA will be taken into consideration, will be discussed and will be measured, after which the cabinet reshuffle or the expansion might happen. So if there is any major changes in the government, we will be getting to know that in the next couple of hours, because the Congress High Command will take the information from the KPCC President as well as the Chief Minister and give out their decision probably in a couple of days' time. Shivangi.
Abhishek, before I let you go, let's talk about what happened last year. We saw there was a highly publicized breakfast meeting. There was a truce between DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah. They put out a united face together. But what happened now? What happened now, Abhishek? Why is there one more feud out in the open in the Karnataka Congress leadership?
Couple of the social media messages we'll have to remember is DK Shivkumar posting on social media saying the word power is world power. Indirectly mentioning the fact that CM Siddaramaiah and he had agreed upon a promise which had been broken by CM Siddaramaiah. So indirectly meaning to say that CM Siddaramaiah was not ready to give up on the chair of Chief Minister, even after having a closed door conversation where he promised that he would be giving up on the chair. And we shouldn't forget the fact that the entire scenario of the Karnataka government changed when the former minister K.N. Rajana mentioned the media that there is something big going to happen in the Karnataka state government, indirectly hinting at either cabinet reshuffle or expansion or the change of chief minister in the state of Karnataka. After which the High Command decided to throw out K.N. Rajana from the cabinet of Karnataka state government. So he had to be de-escalated or he had to be removed from the cabinet because he made a direct remark on the government. The fact started where K.N. Rajana had mentioned this was only a rumor until when CM Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivkumar, the loyalists of both these leaders, started fighting directly in front of the media, in social media and various other platforms, after which D.K. Shivkumar and CM Siddaramaiah had been directed by the High Command of Congress that all of these disturbances will have to be cleared among the lower level and the mid-level by the leaders themselves, and after which there was a breakfast meeting organized in Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's house on the first note, and in the next couple of days it was CM Siddaramaiah who visited D.K. Shivkumar's private residence in Sadashiv Nagar, and both these leaders mentioned to the media that they are united, they are working towards the government, they are working towards the betterment of the people, they have no differences at all. And also they mentioned the fact the blame had been put on the media, stating that the entire controversy had been created by media and not by the government itself. So this very clearly indicates that they had received a message from the High Command to put the blame on the media. They had also mentioned the fact that they are together, they are working like two horses which are of the government, and they will make sure that
all right,
cabinet will continue.
Abhishek, I'll come back to you. Abhishek, I'll come back to you. I'm getting some breaking news coming in. Thank you, Abhishek. Keep tracking that development for us. I have to move ahead because I'm getting some updates. We are waiting for the joint conference of the Quad foreign ministers. Remember, India is hosting this very important Quad meeting, and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that the Quad groupings is evolving from a discussion platform into an action-oriented strategic partnership, emphasizing cooperation on security, energy, humanitarian response, and supply chains. Now, we will be getting our viewers more updates because this is a big conference, and a short while back we saw that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar spoke, and he has sent a very strong message. Let's play out what the External Affairs Minister Jaishankar said.
We will be discussing and deciding our shared activities. Obviously, that will take into account the many challenges and opportunities in the world. Our focus will clearly be on the Indo-Pacific, which is the specific remit of the Quad. At the global level, we have to address issues like supply chain resilience, connectivity choke points, manufacturing and resource concentrations, and gaps in critical infrastructure. Each one of them offers a new argument for more partnerships, stronger growth, and realizing the promise of technologies. The Indo-Pacific has
Minister of Foreign Affairs of Australia, Her Excellency Ms. Penny Wong, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, His Excellency Mr. Toshimitsu Motegi, Secretary of State of the United States of America, His Excellency Mr. Marco Rubio, Honorable External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, distinguished guests, and friends from the media. Namaskar and a very good morning to all of you. I welcome you to this press statement session. First, I invite External Affairs Minister of India for his remarks to the media. Sir.
Thank you, Randit. Minister Wong, Minister Motegi, Secretary Rubio, ladies and gentlemen. We've just concluded a very substantive and productive meeting of the Quad foreign ministers, and I thank Penny, Toshi, Marco for being here, making the effort, and for what's, as I said, been a very, very good meeting. Now, this is our first meeting in 2026. We had met twice in 2025. Understandably, much of the discussions and indeed the bilateral exchanges were devoted to the current state of the world. Being Quad, we naturally focused on issues of particular relevance to the Indo-Pacific. Because we are four maritime democracies located at different ends of the Indo-Pacific, the exchange of perspectives was an exercise of considerable value. The maritime domain has seen a steady expansion of collaboration, including surveillance and domain awareness, logistics network, undersea cables, training, capacity building, and HADR activities. We will be continuing to deepen these areas in the times ahead. We spent some time on the question of safe and unimpeded maritime commerce and reaffirmed the significance of scrupulously observing international law. Our 4 nations are also market economies. We believe strongly that economic resilience should be promoted, that supply chains should be strengthened, trusted and secure technologies diffused, and production capacities enhanced. Our deliberations touched on the current energy and fertilizer availability as well as that of critical minerals and resources. The goal is to intensify cooperation among ourselves while also assisting others. We, the Quad nations, are open societies who foster innovation and creativity in our quest for growth and prosperity. These forces are strengthened when we undertake more exchanges, as we intend to do. So, whether it is in business forums, healthcare initiatives, or digital activities, each facet of a joint effort makes the region that much better. As democratic nations, we also devoted attention to countering the common threat of terrorism. There must be zero tolerance for terrorism, and nations subject to terrorist attacks have the right to defend themselves. A free and open Indo-Pacific has many dimensions and facets. Our meeting today took stock of the progress in many of them while encouraging exploration in others. In the coming days, whether it is economic activity, energy trade, or maritime commerce, the Indo-Pacific will become even more important to the world. The responsibilities of the Quad will grow commensurately, and we must prepare for that. So, as the host, let me thank my colleagues for their valuable contributions in what has been a very productive and forward-looking meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Minister of Foreign Affairs of Australia for her remarks. Madam, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And can I start again by thanking my good friend, Minister Jaishankar, and India for hosting today's meeting, and acknowledge my counterparts, Minister Motegi and Secretary Rubio. This is the 3rd Quad meeting we have had since Secretary Rubio took office, and we thank him for his leadership. And as we also acknowledge Minister Motegi, who has been part of the Quad since the very beginning. And at every meeting that we have been focused on momentum and on making sure we deliver outcomes which are real, which are meaningful for our people and for the people of the Indo-Pacific. As Minister Jaishankar has said, we recognise our obligation, our responsibility to provide real choices, particularly as strategic circumstances in our region are deteriorating. The region is facing acute economic stress. We know the world is more unpredictable. We know economic volatility is increasing. And we know the consequences for our region of the Iranian closure of the Strait of Hormuz and what that means for our energy security, for our economies and for our people. We recognise the efforts of Secretary Rubio towards a diplomatic resolution to ensure freedom of navigation is restored and crucial energy supply flow, and we recognise the importance of maintaining the principle of freedom of navigation and our opposition to any tolling proposition. The Quad is today taking forward a number of new initiatives, an energy security initiative, and of course our continued work on critical minerals, because we understand that secure and reliable supply chains are a precondition to economic and strategic stability. We are also today announcing the strongest ever commitment from the Quad to the Pacific through the Quad Ports of the Future Partnership, where we are launching a pilot for port infrastructure in Fiji. And I was in Fiji just a couple of weeks ago, and I know how important this will be to that country. It's a practical demonstration of our collective ability to deliver high-quality, resilient infrastructure in partnership with the region and in response to Pacific priorities. In addition, we are focusing on what more we can do to assure a transparent, more secure maritime domain in the Indo-Pacific. This is the context in which freedom of navigation and strategic stability can be operationalised, and you are seeing that we will be coordinating our maritime surveillance efforts initially in the Indian Ocean and at Exercise Malabar through the Indo-Pacific Maritime Surveillance Collaboration Initiative, and we are also expanding the Domain Awareness Initiative to the Indian Ocean. This will enable partners to access near real-time unclassified satellite tracking data to combat illegal fishing, trafficking, and also enable us to better support humanitarian disaster response. A point I do also want to emphasise in terms of outcomes we've delivered to date is that we are delivering as a collective undersea cables to all Pacific Island Forum countries, which enhances economic opportunities. We are also working together to strengthen cooperation against scam centres, particularly in Southeast Asia, building law enforcement capacity and deepening cyber cooperation. These are just some of the measures, practical measures Quad countries are engaged in. We know we are stronger when we work together. We know we work better in partnership across our region, and we work best by listening to the priorities of our region and delivering practical outcomes to make a difference to our people's lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Minister. I now invite Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan for his remarks to the media. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I will speak in Japanese, so could you use headphone? 最初に日米豪印外相会合をホストしていただいたシャンカル外相 J に感謝をいたします。私が初めて日米豪印外相会合に参加したのは2019年9月の
2019 September for the inaugural meeting.
You're working on my the headphone back. You got it? Okay, thank you.
I thought you understand Japanese.
So you're going to have to start over. I'm sorry.
It's been 7 years since then, and I am delighted to see the progress of the Quad Cooperation, which is the propellant for realizing the FOIP, or the Free and Open Indo-Pacific. 10 years have passed since FOIP has been advocated. There has been significant change in the international circumstance. At the beginning of the meeting today, I emphasized the importance of our 4 nations of the Quad in realizing the FOIP. I also explained the significance of the updated FOIP. The point of the update of FOIP is that the countries of the Indo-Pacific should strengthen the resiliency and the capacity to determine their own future. Today's meeting gave us a good opportunity to send a unswerving and unshaken message that the Quad will advance the necessary concrete cooperation for this. Also today, through frank exchange of views, we were able to align our strategic perceptions on regional developments and agreed to strongly oppose attempts to unilaterally change the status quo by force or coercion. We shared deep concern over the export restrictions of critical minerals and others as well. We discussed the North Korean situation, including nuclear and missile problems and cyber activities. We reaffirmed our commitment towards complete denuclearization of North Korea. I received support
from the other three countries aiming to bring immediate solution to the abduction issue. Moreover, as the Iranian situation imposes enormous impact on Indo-Pacific region, energy supply viewpoint included, we confirmed the importance of diplomatic efforts in ensuring free and safe navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, as well as stability to be brought to the Middle East. The Energy Security Initiative to secure stable supply of energy in the Indo-Pacific region is a timely initiative. We would like to partner it with Power Asia, a cooperation framework for procurement of crude oil and petroleum products that Japan is promoting. Furthermore, the Critical Minerals Initiative framework launched today is a very important initiative from the perspective of strengthening the supply chain of critical minerals, and we will proceed with concrete cooperation. In this way, today we have agreed to promote various cooperation projects. We would like to work together among the Quad to develop resilience and strengthen capacity to determine their own paths in the region and to promote cooperation that truly benefits this region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Secretary of State of the United States of America for his remarks to the media. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me begin by thanking India for hosting this. We appreciate it very much. To Ministers Jaishankar, Wong, and Motegi, thank you for this very productive discussion and the work that our teams have been doing leading up to this as we continue to build out this partnership into something that is a partnership of action. I'll talk about that more in a moment. Let me first point out that on the stage today is represented countries that collectively are about a third of the world's GDP. Over almost 2 billion people. And these aren't just countries that have economic reach, a third of the world's GDP, 2 billion people. They are countries who share strong values, strong, vibrant democracies who also are committed to many of the same concepts with regards to economic development and have many aligned interests in those fields as well. And so the goal is to turn the Quad, and 16 months ago, before when I became Secretary of State and we began our conversations, we all agreed that we wanted this gathering, this partnership, to be more than just a place where we got together every now and then and discussed the problems of the world that we held in common, but a place of action, a forum of action where we can begin to turn our collective interests into action to the benefit of the people of our countries, but ultimately to the benefit of many other countries around the world who would benefit from some of the things we're working on today. And I'm very happy today that as a result of the work that our teams have been doing leading up to this conversation today and our conversations today, we have real concrete achievables that we can announce to our respective countries and to the world. On the issue of maritime security, there are two big announcements. The first is the launch of the Indo-Pacific Maritime Surveillance Corporation Initiative, which is going to leverage each of our country's maritime surveillance capabilities in the Indo-Pacific to enhance information sharing. Related to that, of course, is also the expansion of the Indo-Pacific Maritime Domain Awareness Initiative, which provides and can provide near real-time commercial maritime domain awareness data to countries throughout the Indo-Pacific. And last, I also want to thank India for committing to hosting the next iteration of the Quad at Sea mission, which brings together our respective Coast Guards together in one place on one ship. And the reason why maritime security is so important, beyond the fact that current events remind us of what can happen when maritime security is impeded, is the fact that 60% of global maritime trade passes through the Indo-Pacific. And it's a vital national interest, not just to the 4 countries represented here today, but to dozens and dozens of countries, countless countries around the world. The second initiative is an exciting one, and that is that we're going to be partnering on issues of port infrastructure, in particular in response to insufficient port capacity in the Pacific Islands. We're announcing plans to work with Fiji to advance that country's port infrastructure. It'll be the first time that the Quad partners work together on a project, on a port infrastructure project. We believe it'll be very successful and that it will serve as a model for other projects in the future. The third topic, which we hear a lot about these days, that we'll have some deliverables on today, is the issue of critical minerals. We'll announce the Quad Critical Minerals Framework, which will guide each of us to leverage economic policy tools and coordinate investment to strengthen critical mineral supply chains, including in mining and processing and in critical minerals recycling. Finally, on energy and fuel security, we'll be announcing the Quad Initiative on Indo-Pacific energy security that will help strengthen regional energy resilience. And through this initiative, the partners will work to identify areas of cooperation in technology, in management, in policy, in international market analysis, and emergency response exercises. We'll be releasing a standalone statement on this initiative, and the Department of Energy from the United States will be hosting Quad partners later this year for a fuel security forum to further expand on this. So we are beginning to show real achievements and real accomplishments. We are deeply committed to this partnership. It is a linchpin and a cornerstone of our global strategy as a nation in the United States. That's why we're so happy to be here today, and that's why we're excited about the initiatives that we're announcing, and we're even more excited about the initiatives we're going to be working together as these take life and new opportunities present themselves. And I want to thank all of you, all three of you, for being here. I want to thank you for hosting us, Minister Jaishankar, and I want to thank India, by the way, for being a tremendous host. We've been here now for 4 days, and it's been a phenomenal visit. So thank you as well for everything you've done to extend such a welcome and allowing us to meet with so many people, and just as importantly, you're hosting this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this session. We thank the ministers for their participation and all of you for your presence. Thank you.
So viewers, that was what we all just witnessed, the joint press meeting of the 4 Quad foreign ministers of India, the US, Australia and Japan. And in all of their individual addresses, the nations really put the focus on navigation freedom, the freedom of navigation, on the energy security, and also a big pivot to the Indo-Pacific and the importance and the trade importance of the Indo-Pacific, and also the nations put forward and opposed the unilateral blockage of any globally important strait or globally important maritime corridors. And this was the joint press meeting of the 4 nations.
स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज वो भी क्लोज हो जाएंगे तो क्या होगा। तो ये एक तरफ तो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट को बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं, इन्फ्लेशन को बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं, गरीब लोगों को मार रहे हैं। आज सभी क्लास के लोग
Right, we have a big breaking news now coming in. Viewers, a big scoop from Delhi, the meeting over the Karnataka ministers, the chief minister and the deputy chief minister, now saying that Siddaramaiah, the chief minister, may step down. And this is now a big political development in the state of Karnataka over the emerging power tussle, as the chief minister and the deputy chief minister have been summoned by the Congress High Command. And now we are getting reports that Siddaramaiah may be asked to step down. And this is a big development now, viewers, coming in. And there have been an infighting within the Karnataka government. And this is coming after the initial promise that between Siddaramaiah and DKS there would be a shared term in the 5-year term. And now with that failing, they both have been summoned to Delhi to discuss the situation with the Congress High Command. And now we are getting reports that Siddaramaiah, the current chief minister, may be asked to step down. This may change the leadership, in fact, in Karnataka for the remaining almost 2 years now left in the Karnataka's Congress-ruled government term. 2 years left, and now that may be, well, as per the reports we are getting, maybe now we may have a new chief minister installed in Karnataka now after the Congress High Command's directive. In fact, the Karnataka chief minister, Siddaramaiah, may be asked to step down. I'm now joined by my colleague Abhishek from Karnataka, who has been tracking this story very closely. From New Delhi, who has been tracking this story very closely. Abhishek, give us all the details. We are now getting reports that Chief Minister Siddaramaiah may be asked to step down. What is next for him then?
Well, with respect to the speculations that CM Siddaramaiah might step down from the position of Chief Minister is at this point of time far from truth is what the closest source and the closest aides of CM Siddaramaiah claim, because there is no such talk of CM Siddaramaiah stepping down from the position of Chief Minister, because there is no anti-incumbency against his governance in the state of Karnataka. On the other hand, we've also seen the loyalists of DCM and the KPCC President DK Shivkumar claiming that there was a pre-agreement even before the government was formed that the T20 format will be followed in the state of Karnataka, meaning to say that the first 2.5 years of the entire 5-year government will be thrown as the Chief Minister by Siddaramaiah, and the second term will be taken over by DCM DK Shivkumar. And we are at the 3-year milestone of the Karnataka state government where CM Siddaramaiah hasn't given up upon the Chief Minister's position to DK Shivkumar if there was any agreement as so which had happened even before the existence of the Congress government, or probably even before the formation of the Congress government. And the latest update is that the High Command had telephoned the KC Venugopal had telephoned CM Siddaramaiah along with the DCM DK Shivkumar on 2 separate calls to invite them to Delhi to have a conversation with the High Command to get clarifications over various other issues that have been prevailing in the state of Karnataka, be it the tickets which are supposed to be announced for the positions of members of legislative councils, be it the Rajya Sabha tickets, be it the cabinet expansion or the reshuffling. And at this point of time, the sources of the High Command also say that there might be a place where the High Command might discuss about the cabinet, the leadership change as well, to which the loyalists of CM Siddaramaiah have very clearly pressed upon the fact and reiterated on the importance of him continuing as the Chief Minister for the betterment of the people of Karnataka. And also we should see the fact that CM Siddaramaiah, even before visiting Indira Bhavana, had a closed door meeting with Dr. G. Parmeshwara, MB Patil, Satish Jarkiholi, K.C. Madevappa, B.K. Hariprasad and various other loyalists of CM's camp.
Right.
On the other hand, we've also seen DCM DK Shivkumar, who came into Karnataka Bhavan with his brother DK Suresh, who is also supposed to visit the Congress office in the next couple of hours, and there will be a one-on-one discussion with CM Siddaramaiah and DCM DK Shivkumar, and there will be no outcome as of today, but the decisions will be intimated to the Congress of the Karnataka in the next couple of days, is what the sources claim as of now. And we are awaiting to see the start of the meeting at Indira Bhavan at 11 in the morning. Amrita.
Right. Right, Abhishek, and we're also getting reports that there may be a third name that's emerging into the Chief Minister to replace Siddaramaiah, according from the Siddaramaiah's camp, that they are now pitching somebody else, like, for example, Parmeshwara as the next Chief Minister and trying to sideline DKS. Is that an attempt to sideline DKS completely from the camp of Siddaramaiah? Is there a big infighting brewing now?
Well, this has been prevailing for the last couple of months, because whenever there was a talk about chief ministership or the leadership change in the state of Karnataka, the loyalists of CM Siddaramaiah had mentioned CM Siddaramaiah, also the media, that CM Siddaramaiah will be replaced by another leader from the Dalit community, indirectly naming Dr. G. Parmeshwar, who is the sitting Home Minister of the state in the Karnataka. Clearly meaning to say that the camp of CM doesn't want anyone else other from the closest aides of CM Siddaramaiah to be thrown as the Chief Minister for the state of Karnataka. So they are by all means avoiding an opportunity for DCM DK Shivkumar to be elevated as the Chief Minister of Karnataka. So this has been clearly noted not only by the loyalists and the camp of CM Siddaramaiah, but also the camp of DCM DK Shivkumar as well. And also we shouldn't forget the fact that the Congress also always follows the principle that they are always with the minority, the Ahinda, as we say, the backward community, the Ahinda community, the minorities. So indirectly clear meaning to say that the state of Karnataka had various other chief ministers who belong to the community of Vakkaliga, which DK Shivkumar is also part of. But the community of the backward community, which hadn't been represented until now, can be a chance can be given to Dr. G. Parmeshwara, is what the closest aides of CM Siddaramaiah have mentioned. Even in the closed door meeting, this information has been reiterated, because if at all the High Command comes up or DCM DK Shivkumar brings up this information of the power sharing, CM Siddaramaiah is bound to say that he...
Right,
format, or in fact as a larger gathering of like-minded nations. It is clearly something very timely, something very important, something very critical. Now this particular framework aims to deepen our cooperation across the entire critical minerals and rare earth supply chain, including mining, processing, recycling and related investments. It will certainly strengthen resilient and diversified supply chains. It will help us to collaborate in financing and in the effective management of critical minerals and rare earth cycling and related investments. It will certainly strengthen resilient and diversified supply chains. It will help us to collaborate in financing and in the effective management of critical minerals and rare earth scrap. So I think it's a very important initiative. I'm very glad, Secretary, that during your visit we could finalize it and sign it. It's one more sign of how close our cooperation is and how important it is today in a world where there are so many challenges but also so many opportunities. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I've spoken often during my time here over the last few days about the strategic alliance between the United States and India and how important that is for our national interest in the United States. And today's a tangible example. We're two countries who have a strategic interest in ensuring reliable long-term access to critical minerals and supply chains that are important for our innovation economy. And today is a tangible result of that. It's tangible evidence of why it is we are strategic allies. It's a very important step. Actually, I think the groundwork was laid for this on the 4th of February when we launched the forum and that you joined us at the Critical Minerals Forum that we hosted in Washington, D.C. It gained momentum later that month when India signed on to Pact Silla. It's one of the first and early members and signatories. And now today, because we both have a strategic and shared interest in the fact that vibrant innovation economies such as ours cannot afford to leave the foundational materials of these industries vulnerable to single source monopolies that could deny us these things, not just in a time of conflict, but as a leverage point in contrary to our sovereign national interests. So it's a pleasure to be here today, and I'm glad we were able to sign this because in addition to being an important document and an important agreement, I think it brings a tangible example of the strategic partnership between the United States and India. Thank you.
May I now request both the leaders to please sign the document.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा और मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released. But when he comes out, this rape accused, garlands are put on him as if he's some kind of a hero, as if he's achieved something great. Is a rapist to be celebrated, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you that question. And more than anyone else, I ask the right.
Coming up next after a very short break, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar in Delhi. Congress High Command firefights Karnataka leadership issue.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved.
External Affairs Minister Jay Shankar and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio signed Memorandum of Understanding to deepen U.S.-India strategic partnership after joint meeting of the Quad Foreign Ministers meet.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Character, the taste of success.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He is accused of
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
जब तक लाजवाब न बन जाए उसे नहीं इत्मीनान है, तभी तो रिचमैन बनना नहीं आसान है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the
from Asia's largest news headquarters. Setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta, and our top focus story today is S. Jaishankar and Rubio signed a crucial MOU on critical minerals after addressing the joint briefing. We'll get you all the latest details on what happened in the FM's meeting and all the latest top breaking news developments. Now, first, let's have a look at the top headlines of the hour. Jaishankar and Rubio signed crucial MOU on critical minerals after addressing joint briefing. SIT conducted a real-time crime scene recreation and spot visit in Trisha death case lasting over